Hello, welcome to another episode of Savva Talks Spurs, the show where I am arrogant enough to have my own name in the title. Yes, that's me. First and foremost, before I go to any comments and say hello to other people, let me say hello to the one and only, the wonderful Gav Mack from the Mad Sports Network. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, mate, but I'm having camera issues here, Ross.
Your face just keeps going in and out of focus. It's scary, man. Scary.
Mac is back. What's good, man? How are you getting on? Oh, so good to see you, Savva.
I know, mate. It's been a long time since we had that beer, isn't it? It's been a long time.
It's been a minute, but
it's been a minute. I'm not cool enough to say things like it's been a minute. I just don't feel I've got that kind of aura around me.
I've spoken for it as well, but I'll try and run with it anyway and see what happens.
Mate, listen, we'll talk. Look, it's I'm Spurs, you're Arsenal. I like to think that we're both honest with it, though. Some people will call that negative, but listen, we'll see what we get through, and then after that, I can go and find Joe's Pizza in New York that you keep banging on about. So honestly, I will go.
Your life will change the moment you do. This camera stand is falling every second. Give me a moment. Christ alive.
Oh, mate, this is terribly. This wouldn't happen on Sky Sports, would it, mate? Terribly amateur. Let's. Are you good? Are you good to go?
I think so. We're gonna run with it.
Okay. So let's first of all, thank you for anyone who is watching. Don't know how many people are going to tune in. I'm really aware that it's like 10:10 in the UK, and some people have school in the morning and at work, and other people have got to get up and get the dole. Whatever you're doing, thank you for watching. And look, as always, put any questions, any comments you want in the box. You know I will get round to them. Let's just try and keep it clean. Let's stop all the you're racist, you hate this, you hate that. All the let's keep all that to a minimum, and let's talk.
Hold on.
Go on.
Have you only invited me onto the stream just to prove that you're not going to fit?
Gav, at least give me 10 minutes before you tell the truth, man. Jesus Christ.
Gin and lemonade.
Gav, let's talk football. Right, it's been a really poor season, isn't it, for both teams? But somehow both are there. Both are in with a shout of top four, and it's kind of poetic justice that there's a North London derby coming up. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this in terms of all over social media, all over Sky Sports and whatever network you watch. It's, oh my God, this massive game, this massive North London derby. Is it as big as people are making, or is it just the big game of the best of the rest? Where are you with that, mate?
It definitely is as big as everyone's making out. I'm trying to downplay it because I don't think I'm mentally prepared for the game tomorrow.
Okay.
If you're watching this live, it's tomorrow. If you're watching it tomorrow, it's later on tonight. But I'm trying to downplay it as much as I can because let's be honest, from an Arsenal's point of view, the way that we started off the season, 3 defeats on the spin, no goals scored. Tottenham, 3 games won, all 1-0 wins, but relatively convincing wins. I think 1-0 was almost flattering to the opposition. After 3 games, I know it's only 3 games, but Tottenham were top of the league after those 9 points. Yeah. Arsenal were bottom of the league with a goal difference, which was embarrassing. If you'd asked anybody in August, where will Arsenal be and where will Tottenham be at the beginning of May? If you said 4th and 5th, pretty much level on points, pretty much vying for a top 4, maybe even a top 3 berth, everyone would laugh at you, would they not? And I think Tottenham went through their issues. Arsenal went through change, and I just feel that it feels like it was almost meant to be this way.
Right.
That these two were meant to be vying for this. This for me is almost like not as heavy as it,
right.
But very much like the Arsenal Liverpool last game in the season, 88-89 season, where the winner, because the winner, as far as I'm concerned, gets top 4.
Right.
And I feel that that is more important right now than what City and Liverpool are going through right now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that then. Yeah, you're right. If you look back to what we've played, 35 games now. So if you look back 32 games ago, I think we won our first 3. You lost your first 3. I always feel that the first 3 or 4 games of a season is a false economy. And certainly, as much as you might be saying that you probably didn't deserve to lose the games you lost, I certainly don't feel we deserve 9 points from our first 3 games. Obviously, we were taken apart by Man City, but got a goal on the break. Somehow we beat Wolves 1-0. It was honestly, I'd never seen a team play us off the park the way Wolves did. They just couldn't score a goal. And then I think the win after that, someone will call me if I'm wrong. I want to say Watford. I don't know. I want to say Watford. But look, after 3 games, you're sitting there thinking, well, there's a 9-point lead over Arsenal. Flip 35 games and you've swung it by, you've swung it by 13 points. There's been a 13-point swing over that time. So it's been an interesting season. Are both teams worthy of top 4, or has the league been that poor this year, Gav? And just trying to get a gauge. This hasn't been the most glamorous top 4 race, has it? But where's your head with that one?
I imagine from a neutral point of view, it actually has been quite a nice run for a number of teams. I think, well, my prediction at the beginning of the season was completely blown out the water. I felt like the top 4 did not deserve to have either of us in it. I thought the top 4 was going to be Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Man United. Sorry.
Right.
And I felt that the way that Man United finished the season last year, the way that with Liverpool coming back with their with the injuries that they had, I knew Chelsea. I thought Chelsea would be in and around it, especially the way the season started.
Yep.
And City. I actually predicted, and I don't mind saying it because I've completely got it wrong, but I believed that there was going to be like a 10-point gap between first and fourth. And I didn't quite know who was going to be in it, but I didn't think there was going to be such a chasm between first and second and everyone else. But the way the season has panned out, I just feel that from a neutral point of view, I always try and be as neutral as you know me, Savva. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm a fan first, and I wanted everything to be as exciting as possible. There's been so many different leagues this year, and I've been a fan of that, from relegation to the mid-table sides to the teams that are trying to vie for the pretend European competitions, and then the ones that are vying for the Champions League as well as the Prem. I just feel like there's been lots of different leagues, so it's kept everyone interested. What Arsenal and Tottenham are doing here, when you look at it from an outside point of view, it's exciting, but on the grand scheme of it, we have no right to be in this conversation.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I think the press had kind of built this up as, oh my God, any one of 4 teams could win this league. And I think they got overhyped by the Ronaldo return, and Varane's come from Madrid, and Sancho's come from Dortmund with this great record. And look, you can understand why people were saying that, because this is a United team that finished second last year, right? So you're thinking,
like they bought in Varane, multiple Champions League winner, World Cup winner. Ronaldo is Ronaldo. Chelsea off the back of winning the Champions League. I don't think that's a media thing. That is if you know ball, that is a conversation that everybody's going to have. So these teams have failed from their from what their expectations are. And teams like Arsenal, teams like Tottenham, they've taken advantage of those situations. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's nothing to do with like media hype, in my opinion.
No, look, I hear you. I mean, look, let's be fair. From a Man United, the collapse or whatever's been happening at that club, it has allowed Spurs and Arsenal to be in the conversation. And I don't think many people at the beginning of the year would have said that it's going to be between Spurs and Arsenal. You would have said it's United. But we're here. We are 24 hours away, or probably less than that now, right? Because I keep forgetting it's only about 5 o'clock for me here. So we are less than 24 hours away from a North London derby, which I can't remember the last let me get that out as a sentence. The last North London derby that had this amount of significance to it. Talk to me then, because I've got a lot of friends who are Arsenal fans, and when I'm speaking to them, they're all telling me that you're going to lose. They're all, I've got a couple that are very much every game Arsenal are going to win 5-0, that's just how it is. But most of my sensible mates have been saying to me, I genuinely worried that Tottenham will dismantle us. Now, I won't tell you about my prediction, but are you in that mold, Gav? Are Spurs going to dismantle you, or are Spurs going to go all Spursy and hand it to Arsenal and you've qualified?
Tottenham are Tottenham, right? Let's be honest.
Right. I agree with you.
Let's get out there first of all. When Spurs need something, they haven't got it. All right.
Yeah.
But tomorrow just seems a little bit different. If this game was when it was meant to be played in January and you beat us, I don't think anyone would give that much of a shit. Let's be honest. I genuinely don't believe that.
Right.
I think there would have been time for either side to catch up and do whatever they need to do. But while the stakes are on, I don't know whether Spurs have got it in them. I don't. However, my personal point of view, if Arsenal play a back four, Arsenal don't win the game.
Right.
If Arsenal play a back three, then I don't think this game will be a draw. I think Arsenal will win the game if we play a back three. And the reason why I say that, we went on that terrible run, didn't Arsenal? Like when we played against Palace, played against Southampton, played against Brighton, lost 3 on the spin. We look at the next 3 games: Chelsea, Man United, West Ham. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
About to lose 6 games on the spin. I didn't. I got my radio show, of course, Revolution Radio, 96.1 FM. Put it in your Alexa. Download the Revolution Radio app. Just saying, you can listen to it anywhere in the world.
Shamelessly plugging, I like it.
Shameless plug. But I was on the radio, and we had the Chelsea game, and I was like, I can't see it happening. I generally can't see it happening. We're going to lose this game, and I wasn't saying it to, play devil's advocate or anything like that. I just look at the way Arsenal are, the way Chelsea are, and what Arsenal did, which I was really proud of that day. We matched them in terms of formation. We made sure that we had the extra bodies in midfield. We made sure we played 3 at the back. We looked at their front line, man for man, in terms of ability. They are far superior to Arsenal, but in terms of form, are not. So it's like, okay, what can Arsenal do differently in order to overcome that? And I feel like creatively, Arsenal were fantastic on the day. The final score 4-2. I don't know if it was flattering or not. There was a couple of mistakes for their goals, a couple of mistakes for our goals. But then, in terms of possession, Chelsea played us off the park. In terms of creation, I feel like Arsenal were on top of that. And I feel that will be a very similar situation for the game tomorrow night. I feel like man for man, we're very similar. We both have strengths, we both have weaknesses.
Yep, I agree.
I feel that in midfield, depending who is fit, who's doing bits. I mean, El Neni has been a revelation. It's like
strange one, El Neni, isn't it? He was like the forgotten man.
The other day.
Like the forgotten man. Look, you're right. Just before we go into that, look, thank you for your comments. Please feel free to ask any questions. Just want to address this. Savva gets called racist, so brings on a black guest. Now, first of all, this isn't a black guest. This is my friend Gav. Second of all, I've been called racist for about 5 years, Stephanie. And second of all, Gav and I used to do loads of shows back in the day. So I think just drop that one. Basically, the backstory to this, Gav, is if I don't think Son is world class, I'm racist against Asians.
But Son is world class.
But we'll have that debate another time, mate. If I don't think Rudiger's world class, I don't like black people. It's like, but apparently, what makes me laugh about this is whenever I don't think a white player is world class, no one ever says, "Oh, you don't like white people." It's just such an easy accusation.
That's not the way it works, Savva.
I know. I'm racist, Gav. I've apologized to you a million times.
Yeah, I'm racist. I've got a colour TV. Anyway, Stephanie, fuck yourself. Lob
Look,
her in the block list. Let's crack on.
she's actually all right. It wasn't her that said it. I think she's just stirring the pot. But
Stephanie, I apologise.
Let's look at this from a tactical perspective, right? I think hands down, the goal scoring wise, I think we've got. I think we've got it right in terms of Kane, in terms of Son. If Kulusevski has one, I mean, Kulusevski, one game he's brilliant. The next game he's non-existent. Still young, still getting used to the league. But if all three of them are on fire, I don't think you handle us. I'll caveat this with, I worry about how bad we are at the back. Everyone will point to, well, look at what happened at Liverpool. But for me, it's very different parking the bus, putting 10 men on your goal line against Liverpool than it is actually having to come out and play and risk your back 4, 5, whatever we play being exposed. Do you think that's our weakness, or what do you think Spurs' weakness is that Arsenal will try and exploit?
Yeah, I think, when I look back to the beginning of the season when you were doing bits, I look back to both Liverpool games, not just when you just played the other day. To be honest, I don't actually think everyone makes up, just Spurs put 11 men behind the ball. Well, I don't think they did. Not for 90 minutes. I thought you actually played quite well. I was quite impressed with you lot. I think
I did defensively. I think the fact that we had, what did they have, like 72% of the ball? I think we were happy. We were happy to sit in.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting anything else though, Gav.
Yeah, but it's all about chances created and stuff like that as well, isn't it? And when I'm talking about chances created, I'm not talking about some bullshit. When you look at the paper and go, the XG was this. I'm talking about you sitting there in front of the TV screen and watching 90 minutes of football, because that was way more important to me about what you see. You might see the game different to what I do, but at least me and you were sat there in front of the screen and watching the same game of football. You know what I mean? So like, I look at that game. There was an opportunity where the ball was played across. Session, it was a little bit difficult for him, but he put the ball across and it was almost too difficult for Son to shape his body in the right way. If that goes 2-0, the game is done. Liverpool aren't coming back. You know what I mean? So there was an opportunity for you to go and win the game. Don't matter how much possession Liverpool had.
No, that is true. That is true.
If that goes in, it's done. And like, end of the day, Luis Diaz, that goal deflected. And the fact that they were resorting to long shots and pop shots here, there and everywhere, you also hit the post in the first half when it was 0-0.
Yeah, but I think, look, the point I'm making, look, I'm not saying we played bad. I'm just saying that we did a job. The point I'm making is when we play at home to Arsenal, it's not going to be that. I would be very disappointed if we had 32% possession at home against our biggest rivals, right? I don't think we'll go. I'd like to think we'll go on the front foot and attack from the beginning. I don't think we will, but I don't know. You never know with Spurs what is going to come out the traps.
Same with Arsenal. We don't know what Arsenal side is going to show up, and that's the thing. We could probably turn up and look like prime, like Joga Benito. We could look like prime Holland, like Netherlands from like 1974, 1978, or we could turn up and look like Scunthorpe at the weekend. I got beef with Scunthorpe. Being a Northamptonian, I've got beef with Scunthorpe at the moment. But like that can happen. We don't know what this could be. The best game of football that we'll ever see in our lives, or the worst game of football. That we'll ever see. It's almost like there's no middle ground, because we know what Tottenham are. We know what they do. I will banter Tottenham all day and say this, that, and the other. Same way you'll do the same about Arsenal. But deep down, let's be real. We both know what our teams are capable of, but we also know what our teams can do. And if Arsenal turn up and do their thing, I don't understand or see how Tottenham even begin to stand a chance against us. But then if Tottenham turn it on, Bentancur and Højbjerg in the middle of the park, your front three running things in the middle, how do Arsenal comprehend with that?
Yeah. I think that's the thing I'd say. When I watch Arsenal play, when you are on your game, again, I've said this before, and people hate it because I don't think this is complimenting Arsenal or putting Spurs down or vice versa. I don't see a lot of difference in the two clubs. Both, as you said, both have strengths, both have weaknesses, both are massively wildly inconsistent. Neither of us can pull away from the other one. Look, yeah, you got a 4-point gap, but I mean, no one can pull away to the point where it's over and done with. I see that you are better at keeping the ball than us. You play I don't want to say a better style of football because there's multiple ways to win a game. But when Saka, when Odegaard, when Martinelli or Smith Rowe, whoever plays, when that three start getting grips of a game, I think you're actually decent to watch. With Spurs, we're never going to have that at the moment with the squad we've got. We are very much, let's do this very quickly. Everything is quick. We get the ball and it's Son, Kane, Kulusevski, go. Do you know what I mean?
When Kane starts coming deep, winning the ball in those deeper areas, who's going to mark him? Who's going to track him? And is almost unplayable in those situations. I mean, like, if we look back to the weekend and the goal that Tottenham scored, it's Kane who's come deep to win the ball. Have a look around, see who's there. He's got enough time and space to move the ball around. As far as I'm concerned, El Neni needs to put Kane in his pocket because it's only going to be El Neni. He's going to do that dirty defensive work.
Yeah,
you know, he's got literally, if he's going for a shit, he's got to follow him to the toilet. You know, he's got a hand in the toilet roll. If he doesn't do that, then Kane's going to have so much space, time and space to do whatever he wants. Okay? If Kane, like that goal at the weekend, he comes deeper. He's looking around. He finds Sessegnon. No one's looking for Sessegnon. You know what I mean? You know, so like that ball goes across. He's got all the time in the world. And if that happens, then we're pretty screwed. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's been so much talk about this game. It's going to be interesting, right? I think what's key for me is I think if it wasn't Arsenal, and hear me out on this, Gav, I think if it wasn't Arsenal, I'd be more worried. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is in Arsenal's position, you know a win guarantees you Champions League football. And you know a point doesn't guarantee you Champions League football, but means you have to be monumentally bad in your last two games. So if it was another club, I think they would just sit and make it really difficult for Spurs. I don't see that in Arsenal's makeup, that you are a team that will go, right, let's go like Spurs did to Liverpool. Let's just sit in and I don't see you're that sort of team. Do you think that could be your undoing?
You see that? I do disagree with you on that front because I think
it's okay. We're allowed to disagree, Gav.
Or are we? Fucking
I'll invite you back, even if you disagree with me.
But no, the reason why I disagree with you, Sav, is because of the Chelsea game that Arsenal played. We went into that game matching them formation wise, but we didn't go in there. We didn't have much creativity other than our front three. We went in that game to ensure we don't lose because we just lost 3 on the spin.
Yeah.
But by doing that, we played 3 at the back. 3 at the back, 2 fullbacks as wing backs, 2 defensive-minded central midfielders, and then a front 3 of doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
We were then allowed opportunity to be creative because of the way that Chelsea played and allowed us time and space to do certain things.
Yeah.
So if both teams, for me, line up similar, both teams line up with a back 3. As I said, if Arsenal line up with a back 4, I think that is naive from Arteta. I think that is stupid from Arteta. We need to go in there and be honest about the opposition that we're facing and what is at stake. Because, yeah, you win the game tomorrow, Arsenal still have the advantage because it's in our hands. Hands. Go out there and do what we need to do. I need to double check who you've got on your last 2 games of the season. We've got Newcastle.
I'll tell you, we've got Burnley at home on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we've got Norwich away.
See, Norwich is fine because they're down and done. They're fucked. But the Burnley game, that could be a banana skin. And for Arsenal, we've got Newcastle away. We don't travel that well up there, but 9 times out of 10, we're okay up there. So that's cool. But then we've got Everton at home. And that could be, they might need to win that game in order to survive.
Yeah.
So we've both got
that could be you when you get top 4. They win, they secure Premier League status.
And the same sort of vibes with the Burnley game that you got at the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it's all very interesting. I think. Look, I think Arsenal will be happy they've got you've got the 4-point cushion, and I think if we go into the last 2 games of the season with a 4-point deficit on Arsenal, with all the best will in the world, it's not that I can't see us winning our last 2 games. I just can't see you not winning one of your last 2.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be. I can only imagine that if you manage to beat us tomorrow night and secure Champions League football for the first time in what, 5 years? 5 seasons at Spurs in our new stadium the banter all summer is going to be horrific from a Spurs point of view.
It's going to be like 0304 all over again.
Right. Oh, God, don't talk to me about 0304.
Got Champions League at Shite Lane. Got Champions League at Shite Lane.
Jesus Christ. Let me just say, if anyone's got any questions they want to ask Gav or I, please just whack them in the comments and I will always flip to them. Let's have a look at a score prediction. What I don't want to spend the whole time talking about tomorrow's game. I want to move on to other aspects of our club, such as transfers, who's run better. I want to talk about Arteta and Conte. Talk to me. I'll tell you what. Give me 2 predictions. Give me the one that goes on in there.
Heart and head.
Heart and head. Because I think you'll find most of our fan bases they can't use this. They just go with this. So go on. Give me heart and then give me head. That sounded really wrong, didn't it? That sounded awful.
Mate, honestly, once that, so I'm on Skyscanner at the moment looking for a flight to New York quick time. Buy me Joe's Pizza, I'll be over straight away. I'll get you
Joe's Pizza, that will sell it to you. So come on, what's your heart telling?
In my heart of hearts, we come there, we win 2-0. In my heart, I genuinely believe that. In my head, too logical. We lose 3-1.
Okay. do you know what? My heart tells me that we take you to the cleaners and Son and Kane have a day where they run riot. My head will tell me I think we'll win 2-1. I do. I've always said I think we'll win this. That was never my issue with getting top 4. My issue with top 4 was can Arsenal drop enough points? And you know what? 6-7 games ago, you're going, oh, there's loads of points to play for. But we're at that stage now where that number is left. Right.
9 points left, and there's a 4-point gap at the moment.
Okay, so let's move on to this then. Let's just see what some of the people have been saying. I think, we're just getting a little bit saucy. Score prediction from Dave: 2-0 Spurs, 0-0. Okay. It's good. Okay. If we don't get it, it's our own fault. Brentford away, bunch of losers. I agree. If we don't get it,
Brentford opening day of the season, we lost 2-0. Everyone took the mick out of Arsenal then.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. Arsenal 3-1. Let's have a look. Armand says Saka also adapt for the game tomorrow. I think that's just smoke. I think he'll play. Gav, let's move on. And just quickly, I want to ask if anybody hasn't subscribed, please can you like and subscribe? Yeah. It's not asking a lot. Please just like and subscribe. That is most welcome. Gav, let's move on from the North London derby. Let's go a little bit more away from this game. Let's talk about this. Now, this question that I'm asking here could very much be 3 games too early or a game too early to ask this, because I'm guessing a lot of what's going to happen in the next week when we know who's going to be top 4 and who's not and who's going to have Champions League money and blah, 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 might determine who's run better now and who can be run better moving forward. So let's tackle this in 2 ways. First of all, right now, let's take the last 10 years, because I think otherwise, if we go back further, we're just going crazy. Who is run better as a football club? Tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, in the last 10 years, I probably would still say Arsenal have been more so than Tottenham. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at what we're in 2022, so 2012 was around the sort of time when Poch came in, right? 2014 he came in, right?
Poch started at the 2014-2015 season.
So 2014, so he's been at 8 years ago he got there, right?
Yeah.
If Tottenham were on the rise at that point, We go, oh yeah, but didn't win any trophies, did they? Let's not be dickheads about it. Let's be honest and let's be real about it. What were Tottenham really doing in those 4 or 5 years before that? They played some exciting football, play a real nice brand, but didn't really get anywhere or do anything. Poch came in and made Tottenham consistent. They were regular. You know what I mean? Getting into the Champions League, finishing top 4, doing bits, right? But weren't able to get over the line. If the money was allowed for Poch to go further, then I'm talking about genuine title charges. I'm talking about trophies. So I now think of that is Tottenham have run better to remain consistent doing that, but then ran poorly because they weren't allowed to be more ambitious with their targets. But then what was their target? From a fan's point of view, like I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm talking about as a football fan. My target from the club that I support, I want to finish as high as I can and win trophies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now the owner of a club. It's like I want to make sure that my club finishes in the top 4 to guarantee we've got X amount of money to be the most sustainable business.
Yeah.
So then you have to think about it from a point of view of are we trying to be a competitive club or a sustainable club?
Right.
So in terms of run better, sustainability, Tottenham then.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. So knowing what we've just talked about in terms of where we were under Poch, lack of backing, blah, 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 blah. In the last, our form has gone from finishing 2nd in the league to 3rd in the league to 4th in the league to 6th, 7th, etc., etc. Now, if you look at that, everything about that says that Spurs are going backwards. However, I feel that if you look at us over the last 15 years, we've been there or thereabouts. We've been somewhere in between 6th and 2nd every season for the last 15 years. Right? My question to you is, yes, it's not all about trophies, but it's about trophies sometimes. And even during what Spurs fans, the thing is, you've seen your club go from invincibles up here to, you know, winning titles whilst playing a fabulous brand of football with footballers that were out of this world. You've seen that to what you see Arsenal being now, and it's okay. There's a great big come down, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Spurs fans, we've seen our club go from mid-table up to 4th, and then just hovering around there. Now, that's great, but my point is, we first finished 4th under Harry Redknapp back in, someone will tell me, I want to say 2009, 10, 11, somewhere around that. Yeah, my problem is that still fans are saying, oh, well, we've gone from mid-table in the 90s to 4th, 5th, whatever. But my point is, that's fine. We made that jump. But since we made that jump, we just seem happy to be there. Now, that may be harsh. That may sound harsh. But we've got owners that charge the most for any club. What do you make of that, Gav, from an Arsenal fan?
No, it's irrelevant what team you support. It's all about commercial value. When the amount of money difference between finishing 2nd and 4th is irrelevant.
Yep.
It's so minimal how much it's literally the case of a few £1 million. I say that so casually with like £4.87 in my savings account. But like when you are a multi-millionaire, what the hell is 2 mil?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
to me or you, what is 2 mil?
You still got the same. You're still playing Champions League football next season. You're still going to be in the same pot for the seeding, whether you finish 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. It's finishing 1st, and that's what everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to finish 1st. You know what I mean? And like Tottenham winning a league title in the next X amount of years. My daughter's 18 months old. She'll probably be 18 before Tottenham win a league title. And the same with Arsenal. I'm not trying to say that, oh, yeah, well, we're going to win league title before you. I expect Arsenal to win league title before Tottenham. Generally, I say that with chest. But I don't believe that, I generally don't believe that Arsenal are going to win league title anytime soon. But I feel like Arsenal are better equipped because we are, like, for instance, everyone took the piss out of our transfer window at the beginning of the season. Even I was a little bit skeptical about it. Bearing in mind, the only person that I'd never watched before was Lukonga. I knew everyone else that we were signing because I've seen them all. And I'll tell you one thing, right? Side note. I'll tell you what winds me up. People go, oh yeah, well, Lukonga's sick. Lukonga's this. Lukonga's that. Tell me 3 90-minute games of football that you watched Lukonga play football. You didn't, because I've got every
fans do it all the time though, Gav.
I know.
Fans are telling me
I've got every channel. I've never watched a Belgian Pro League, like Jupiler League game in my lifetime,
mate.
Ever.
Fans at Spurs have done that this year with Papa Sarr. We've bought Papa Sarr. He's generational. He's gone on loan. He'll come back and be amazing. I've watched Mets a couple of times this year purely because Mets were on, and I thought, oh, let's check out Papa Sarr. One of the times he was on the bench and came on. The other game, it was a bit like, okay, is our guy playing? But that's what we do, right?
Football on TV in this country, we can watch that. We haven't got Belgian football.
No, true.
So then when man are telling me that they've sat there and watched Lukonga play, oh yeah, he's sick, is this, that, and the other, you're a liar. You're an absolute liar. Why are you lying? Don't bullshit me. Do you know what I mean? So like with Ramsdale, I never minded Ramsdale, but when we were linked with him, I was like, like there are better goalkeepers in the world, in my opinion, that we go and sign. There's one goalkeeper that I love more than anybody else that is more affordable than anything. He's the Arminia Bielefeld goalkeeper. So you know me, I'm a massive Bundesliga star. Like Stefan Ortega, the goalkeeper for Arminia Bielefeld. Unbelievable goalkeeper. And I honestly believe that most clubs should be, if you want a goalkeeper who is top, people go, oh, he's not world class, so he plays with Bielefeld. Well, watch him then. I watch him every week. Everyone has to start somewhere. I watch him. Well, he's getting on now. He's like 30 coming up to. But as a goalkeeper, that's no age. And I genuinely believe if you sit down there and watch 90-minute games of Arminia Bielefeld, they're not great. They're not at the bottom of the league, but they're not shipping goals left, right, and centre. They're not defensively, they're not great, but they work together. So sometimes there are games where he's not doing anything for 85 minutes and he has to pull off a world-class save. His distribution is fantastic, blah, blah, blah. We could have picked him up, in my opinion, for like 2-3 mil euros. Right? But Gav, we go out there and spend nearly 30 million on Ramsdale. Ramsdale has surprised me. Tomiyasu, I didn't expect him to have such an impact on the Premier League as he did, but he has. He's been fantastic. And like
you got him and we got Emerson Royale. I mean, let's move. Listen, I just want to quickly go to some of the comments. I pride myself on getting everyone involved. First comment is party after party said Poch is way better than Arteta. I just want to spend like 30 seconds on each comment. First of all, I mean, I don't know why everyone needs to be compared, right? First of all, I would say, okay, Poch is way better than Arteta. I'm not saying either or, but Arteta will turn around and go, well, hang on, I've won a trophy. Like
Arteta has been the main manager for 2 years, 2.5 years,
and won a trophy. Anyway, moving on. Freddie has said both clubs are run equally bad, but because Levy hires managers like Conte and Jose, he makes it look like Spurs are better. I truly agree with this, Freddie. I think what Spurs do to cover over the lack of ambition on the pitch, it's easier to say, well, we've got Jose or Conte, 20 million or 15 million to them a year. Let's work miracles rather than actually addressing the problems.
That's why I'm not a massive Arteta fan. I'm not going to make out like I'm Arteta's biggest fan because we're doing all right at the moment. I never wanted him in the first place, but he's doing well, and credit where credit's due.
We've got a bit about him in a minute. Gav, don't go into Arteta yet. I've got a bit about him in a minute. Don't want to talk about Arteta yet. It's too early for Mikel Arteta. PB and Jam, this is always an interesting one. I always hear that Poch kind of built something. I always look at that era and I think if you actually look at the 11 that was the famous 11 I say famous for Spurs fans, the famous 11 that never won anything but nearly did. He actually only signed 3 or 4 of them. So I think it was more about he was brilliant at coaching what was there and adding a few to it. But I don't think it's not like he completely built a team. I mean, that's factual, by the way. That's not my opinion. 7 of his famous 11 were there when he joined. Here we go. Levy is a better owner than Kroenke. In what way? I don't know what Levy's done to suggest that.
What trophy do you win for that then?
Yeah. Right. Big up, Jordan. Hope you are well, my friend. An Emerson winner tomorrow. I've got these nightmares of Emerson Royale scoring a winner, and then our fans
as well, wouldn't it? Like Company against Leicester.
But I've got this vision of him popping up with a goal that hits his backside and goes in, and then our fans will give him cult-like status, like Lucas Moura's had since the Champions League semi-final. Done nothing since, but still, if you say Lucas should leave, oh, you're disrespectful. He got a hat trick. Yada yada yada. Richard Knight, footballing wise, Arsenal are more ambitious, and I'm a Spurs fan. Okay. Jimmy Costco, as apparent, 470 in the savings account.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all about millions, isn't it? I was about millions, and I was like, I got £4.70 in my savings account.
Made him chuckle. Here's Naz. Hello, Naz. Welcome back. Always, as I said, I'm always happy for any fan of any club to come and join the stream. Both clubs are run poor. The difference is we are historically and still a much bigger club. We've been poor for years, but still picked up FA Cups. Spurs just don't win anything. Neither are successful. I think this is what I was going to say to you a little bit earlier, Gav. I think before we went off on a tangent. It's so strange that you went from being this invincible team to what you are today. And Spurs fans, when we overtook you for a couple of years in the league, Spurs fans going, oh, look how far. This isn't the worst Arsenal team we've seen for 2 decades. And this is the best Spurs team. Look what we've built. Poch is amazing. Wenger's on the way out. And still, during those periods when you wanted your manager out, when Spurs were had the best manager in the world in Poch or whatever, you still kept winning trophies. Didn't you? It's fact. You kept winning trophies whilst our fans will make they will make any excuse. When we don't win a trophy, the excuses that come out are just hysterical. It's ridiculous. Difficult to admit, but that's true. Yeah, Richard Knight has said Levy's priority is not the football team. It's to be an international sort and events venue. It is. We're a brand now. We're a boxing brand, a concert brand, whatever it may be.
Brand.
Jimmy Costco, Poch has won a trophy. Not in the context of.
The Audi Cup. Yeah, cool.
I think, Jimmy, we're talking about Spurs. I don't care. Listen, you and I could go and manage PSG, Gav Mack, and win a trophy.
If we can't, then we'd have to.
There you go. Oh, you see what's happened here, Gav, is I've said something about Poch that was the truth. So now everyone will come out and back him to the hilt.
Up in the house.
Back him to the hilt. Poch won at PSG, lost in the UEFA Champions League to the team that knocked out Man City. Right? He also got knocked out of both French Cups. I mean, as PSG manager, surely your minimum is a double or treble in your own country.
Yeah.
Surely there's no excuse.
Domestic treble, that is facts. End of the day, look at the ownership at PSG. They want a Champions League. They've done everything to try and get it. They bought Neymar in, hasn't worked. They bought in Messi, hasn't worked. They've got Mbappe, still hasn't worked. He's going to be moving on soon. Who they're going to bring in next? They're going to try and bring in Zidane as their next manager, apparently. Excuse me. And if they do and they don't win in Champions League, then Zidane will get put by the wayside as well. PSG are not built to win the Champions League. Let's be honest. They're not going to do it. The Champions League is an elite competition. We try as Arsenal fans. We haven't got anywhere. You know, we got to a final once. Tottenham, they had two solid seasons in the Champions League. That one when Gareth Bale was doing his thing, and then obviously the run that got you to the final quite recently. Still couldn't do it. You know, Liverpool, they've got heritage in the competition. Real Madrid, they've got heritage in the competition. Barcelona, heritage. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you know what's funny, Gav?
The ones that are trying to do things, we can't agree with that.
But I'll tell you what's funny is at my work, I've got a French guy. He runs our French accounts team, funnily enough, called Joes, and he's a PSG fan. And he always says to me, he's like, Savva, he goes, Savva, he went, we don't even celebrate winning the league. He went, if we don't win that league by 25, 30 points, the manager's done a really bad job. He went, look at our squad. So look, at the end of the day, yes, Poch has gone to France and win a trophy, but for me, if I'm going to start taking managers seriously, you've got to be doing bits and pieces in at least one of the top 4 leagues, right? At least. Here you go. It's not Mikel Arteta. It's Emmett Brakowski. Okay. PB and Jam. That's what I meant. 24Z. Lucas is not anymore. Go. I agree with you.
Lucas, I'll tell you what. Recreate him as a right wing back. I've said this on a number of occasions. It's been laughed off. I don't care. If you turn Lucas Moura into a right wing back, I think that makes a difference because he knows what he's doing attacking wise, and he's very good at pressing and coming back and defending. So if you can give him a little bit of guidance on how to defend, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of Spurs fans have talked about this, whether to play Lucas or more. Spurs fans have talked about it. Do we want more at right wing back, Bergwijn instead of Royal? Look, for me, Gav, I'd have you at right wing back for Spurs.
It's me at right back. I'm left-footed, bruv.
Mate, I don't care. That's the point. I think Emerson Royal is so bad that it hurts me to watch him. Jimmy has said, no, I agree with you, Savva, but you mentioned Arteta has won a trophy. Just wanted to point out Poch has. Yeah, look, Poch has. My point was that Spurs fans were saying this is our best period. This is our best manager, apparently, and our best squad since the 60s, fans were telling me. And yet Arsenal were in the mud, as people say these days. Arsenal, terrible managers. Wenger's got to go. They were still winning trophies with an 11 that was, at the time, was nowhere near as good as our 11, but they won trophies. Last comment before we go back to our topic. Levy is a good property developer and accountant. When it comes to running a winning football club, he's absolutely failed.
Most owners of clubs have no football acumen nowadays anyway.
Agreed.
All about business. If you're not a good businessman, you have no chance and no right to be an owner of a football club nowadays. That's how it works. Yep.
So just before we go back to our thing, please, I've not gone up but one subscriber since this show has been on. So it's either that everyone has subscribed or everyone is being really tight. Let's have a look. Just last one, Naz. Facts, Savva, that Poch era, you had a much better team than us and Poch failed to deliver. Both of our fans have low standards. The difference is we were once great, best in the world, great, but it's sad now. Yeah, look, Naz, I agree with you at the end of the day. And this is why when I get crucified, Gav, for not going all kind of googly-eyed over Pochettino when his name's mentioned. But for me, he had the longest tenure at Spurs of any manager, I think, since someone said the other day, was it since the 60s or 50s or something? He had a very good team. A lot of the big clubs like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United were in a kind of rebuilding phase. And he still finished behind Leicester. He still managed to finish that year behind Arsenal. And he still didn't win a trophy. So, look, I don't want to make this a Poch show, but as I've always said, Gav, about Poch, thank you for what you did in the years that were good. The other years weren't so great. You've moved on. I wish Spurs fans would as well. And what will happen is, I've said this, Gav, I've said this a million times. If Conte goes because he's not backed, or if he goes because he gets sacked or whatever, Daniel Levy, this is where the businessman in him is brilliant. He will bring back Pochettino because, again, it will paper over that he's not actually doing it on the pitch, and 90% of our fan base will just go, "Oh my God, Poch is coming home.
Oh my
Poch
God,
is back."
Yeah, I can see that.
Forget the crap squad he's got. Poch is back, and you know this is what you get, Gav. This is what you get. Sad that I belittle everything the man did for the club. Now, this is where.
Okay. What did he do for the club then?
Right.
This is not me trying to troll as an Arsenal fan. This is me just being genuinely honest. What did Poch do for that club? And this is why what I said to you before as well, earlier on, Savva, as well. I was saying if he was backed financially, he went, what, 3 windows, 4 windows, we're not making a signing. Do you really think that he wanted to do that? That's bollocks if anyone believes that is the case. He was not supported in what he was trying to do. He got to the Champions League final with a skeleton squad. He comes second in the league against behind Chelsea. Chelsea just had, like, they had the wind under their wings. They were brilliant. After that defeat to Arsenal in the September of that year, Chelsea they turned into a madness. They were unbelievable. I think they lost 2 late league games after that for the rest of the season. So how are you meant to compete? You can put pressure on, and people, as myself, will take the piss out of Spurs and be like, oh yeah, you put pressure on, yeah, it's great, Truly, what else Spurs could have won every single game? Wouldn't have made any difference.
The thing is, Gav,
so therefore they went on and did it. But it was like, it's almost like that because that starting 11 for me was the best starting 11, not man for man, but if you put an 11 together of that season, I don't care saying this as an Arsenal fan. I care about saying it as a football fan.
Yeah.
Name me a better starting 11 than that Spurs 16-17 season in the Premier League of that particular season. You'll be pushed to try and find it.
But Gav, do you know the difference is when the people go so dramatic, like, I belittle everything. I've literally just said thank you for the good times, and there was some good times. We played for a few seasons. We played lovely football, right? Played some lovely football. We scored a lot of goals. We had. I'm not even talking about the Champions League run, and I know people will just play on that, but the actual Champions League run itself, Gav, whilst winning is winning, we didn't actually. It wasn't like it was a great run. We didn't smash loads of teams on the way. There wasn't loads of good football to get there. But we got there. The point is, Poch did well, then he didn't, and we move on. But for some reason, if you just say he did well, people go, oh my God, the best manager we've had for X amount of years.
Yeah, but he wasn't supported though, Savva.
Hang on. I disagree. I disagree. There are so many reports of people within the club, previous clubs he's worked for, that said that he was offered players, like when he turned down Yuri Tillemans on loan, right? At the time.
Like fair enough. Right? Like, he probably was offered Dross. You know what I mean?
Mate, listen, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. What I doubt, Gav, is even if this man had been backed, right? I don't buy that he would have got us over the line. I don't buy that he would have gone and made the right signings. That's just me. That's just me. I'm looking at him now with egos at PSG. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting them to win the Champions League because the PSG don't. But when I've watched PSG, it's not even like he's got them playing any type of brand of football. Yeah, they're not running for him. They're not doing anything for him. Now, if you can't do that, that's what the great managers do. That's what Ferguson did, what Klopp does, what Pep does. He gets top players running for him. Look at Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan. These are wonderfully gifted technical footballers, but boy, do they work hard, right? Yeah, so look, I'm going to move off the Poch versus Arteta thing, but for me, I'm just talking about how if you don't get so excited when a man's name is mentioned, you get this. Look, what's your agenda? The agenda is he had 6 years. I enjoyed some of his time, but we've moved on. He's moved on. Yeah. My point is, Gav, if he comes back now, he's picking up this squad that still needs major surgery.
Yeah.
Right? He'll be picking up players that were still here when he was here that weren't doing it for him when he left.
Yeah, exactly. It's what the difference is going to be.
What does that say to the players?
Bearing in mind, considering that you're not on the socials anymore, you know what I mean? And I am still. And just seeing like people still just sharing mad shit about Poch. He needs to do this and he needs to that. He needs to come home and that sort of stuff.
It's embarrassing.
I remember most of those people running him out of the club. And the same with Arsenal. Arsenal fans doing the same sort of thing. Like I was Wenger out from 2008. And people go, oh, you can't have been that. I've got Facebook posts when I first created a Facebook page in like 2008 saying this guy needs to leave because we should have won the title that year and he fucked it. He screwed it up. Do you know what I mean? So like, I forgot to ask if it was PC before. Actually, I've been effing and jeffing on this show. I'm sorry.
Your microphone's quite low, by the way, mate. The volume.
What about now?
That's better.
Let me I'll tell you what, I can sort that out. But how are you now?
Perfect.
Lovely stuff. Anyway, so I was just thinking, like, I wanted Wenger out from back then, and then when he started shagging things in years to come, and then he leaves the club, and Arsenal fans are going, oh my god, like, oh, this, that, and the other, NASA, Minawan in there no more. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just thinking, every team needs a rebuild, but it's how much patience and time you're allowed to give that person. And
Agreed.
like, if you're like, the difference is with Arsenal right now, we've got a rookie manager. He might be coming up to 40 years old.
We're coming on to him in a minute. Stop going into Arteta. We're coming on to him in a minute.
Makes sense. Let's move. Can we go to that now?
We're going to that right after this comment, right? This is what makes me laugh, right? And I'll tell you why it makes me laugh.
Well, because he's got contact as his profile picture, and then like,
right. Well, right. Let's assume, that Poch wasn't backed, even though one window he spent 160 million on absolute shite. But let's assume he wasn't backed, and it was the players, right? My issue is when a manager in their last year can't win one game away from home in 10 months, Gav, right? Now, yes, if we're saying so-and-so has not been backed, Spurs still had a team at that point that looked like this. You ready? We had Lloris, Trippier at right back, Rose at left back, Alderweireld and Vertonghen. You had Dele Alli, you had Eriksson, Son, Kane, Dyer was there, right? Now, and Moussa Dembele for 6 months of this last year. If you've got a manager, right, that in 10 months can't win a single away game with that team, and you cannot, right, we won 26 points from his last 25 league games. That is relegation form. And in 2019, he lost more league games than any other Premier League manager. I'm sorry, but no matter how well you did previous to that, those facts alone, you've got to go.
Those 3 windows where no money was spent. That's not Poch's fault.
2. I believe I listen, as I've said on here before, my mate works at Southampton, right? My mate works at Southampton. I think I might have told you this before.
You told me off there before.
He told me when Poch joined Spurs, what's Poch all about? He said, yeah, good manager. He said, problem with this guy, he said he likes his bubble. He said, and if you're not in that bubble, he doesn't want to know. And he said, if he's offered players that don't fit in that bubble, right, he doesn't want to know. Now, look, I am the biggest Levy out person you will find. Of course, I want Levy to back managers properly. But what I can't have is when a manager can't win an away game for 10 months with that team, and when they're in relegation form for nearly 9 months, something's got to go. Now, the problem is bringing him back now, you've still got the same goalkeeper, right? You've still got Winks who was there, Dyer who was there, Lloris who was there, Kane who was there, Son who was there, Moura who was there. Ndombele and Lo Celso will be back who were bought by him. Jack Clark, Ryan Sessegnon. For me, not enough has changed. Nothing has changed to bring the guy back now. You're bringing back something that didn't work with players that didn't work. Do you see my point?
Yeah. I hear. I hear that. Look, can we move on yet? Right.
We can move on. Are you ready?
Yeah. The question is,
here you go. Here's my question to you. Is Arteta any good? Now, when I say that, again, my Arsenal mates will chalk and cheese. Some of them are like, this guy's a caretaker. He's not ready. He shouldn't be our manager. It's terrible. Get him out. Why has he signed a contract? The other half are, he's won us a cup. He might get us top 4 this year. But which camp are you in, or does it have to be a camp?
It doesn't have to be a camp. Personally, though, when he was linked with Arsenal, he should have got the job then. And at that point, Wenger could have gone upstairs.
Right.
And he would have come in, the rookie manager, this, that, and the other. Fine. All right. But the fact that we waited so long and there were two managers that were available at the time.
Yep.
Arteta and Ancelotti. And we take Arteta. Arteta was like, yeah, but he played for Arsenal. He's the captain. That motherfucker was the captain of and legend at Everton as well. So he could have gone to Everton. I reckon he would have got more of a tune out of Everton. And I reckon Ancelotti would have got more of a tune out of Arsenal. Yeah. I was crying for Ancelotti. Honestly, you go to Facebook and put Gav Mack Ancelotti. You'll see tweet posts of me from 2014 times before he went to Bayern, saying that's the type of gaffer that we need, Ancelotti. Yeah. You know, like
keep going. I'm getting the water. Keep going.
Yeah, you keep getting the water. Let me have a little moan to myself, eh? But I just feel like that if Ancelotti was to come in at Arsenal at that point, that would have been a turning point and would have turned the key for Arsenal to move forwards and try and do something and be back within the challenges. You know, not just a top 4 challenger, but his impact, his stance, his attitude towards the game, his pull would have brought in some top end players that would have put Arsenal back amongst challengers. And instead, we go with Arteta. Yeah, we won the FA Cup in his first season, but we come 8th. Last season, we come 8th.
Yep.
League position might be a little bit skewed because when you look at the difference in terms of points between 8th and 4th last season, it was rather tight. Yeah. And it takes a 1 game or a 2 game swing, and next thing you know, Arsenal are back within it. This season, as we alluded to at the beginning of the show, is this a false economy that Arsenal and Spurs are vying for 4th place? Yes. But then the way the season's panned, no, I should say, no, it's not a false economy that we're vying for 4th place.
Right.
But the way the season's panned out, then yes. But I think it is fantastic that we are both there doing it from a neutral point of view. For me personally, I want you to be where Everton are doing right now. And I know you feel the same way about me. But at the same time, it's nice having that rivalry. Arteta is his first ever job in a senior management position. Arsenal going for a rebuild. So I think Arsenal were very clever to get a brand new manager in for a rebuild because you've got nothing to lose.
I'm going to ask you a question in a second.
From an Arsenal's point of view, this is not what we want. We know where we have been. You mentioned it earlier on today. You even said it earlier on today. Arsenal were used to winning league titles and winning trophies and challenging for whatever. We want those glory days back, and those glory days weren't even that far away. That weren't that long ago. You know, Tottenham last won a trophy in 2008. They last won a league title in 61. My grandma wasn't even in. She was still living in Jamaica before she went last time you won the league.
Yep.
But Arsenal, our recent history is better, is stronger. So therefore, we want to be back to where we are. And Man United fans going through the same shit right now. The same shit because they've just had those glory days. So then when it comes to nowadays, we want to be looking at a manager who could bring us back there. I don't feel Arteta is the person for it. But in terms of a rebuild of where we have been and what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve to get back to where we need to be, then why not get someone like that in now? Because there's no pressure on him.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you in a minute about the word rebuild. I've got a big theory about the word rebuild. So I'm going to come back to you on that in a minute. Let's just go to look at some messages. So Freddie has said Arteta was a very good coach, but not the best manager. Last year, he massively underperformed. Party after party has said 250 million spent. All his players, no Europe, 2.5 years to get 4th is good. Question mark. Let's have a look. Sorry. Where are we? Daniel Levy is the reason we have high standards. Jesus Christ. Daniel Levy's Daniel Levy's the reason why we pay high prices. High standards. Mate, Ron, I want a League Cup. Something. Now people will go, oh, Savva's ambition is a cup. We haven't won anything for 14 years. Just start with a League Cup. Then let's work our way up. Oh my God. Here's this guy. This guy's always got a dig. Why is Savva not in London for the biggest match of the season? You know what? When my company said, Savva, we need you to go to New York for business for 4 days, I did try and say to them, oh, it's the North London derby.
Sorry, mate, can't do it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Yeah. As much as I love Spurs.
I missed my steplad's first day at school to go to New York.
Right.
It's my stepdad, isn't it? So it's not my real
mate,
son.
Listen. What a silly thing to say. Listen, I'm not 18. I'm 40 this year. If my company tells me I'm going to New York, I'm going to New York. I actually land, Gav, tomorrow at 8 p.m. So I'm going to be going through passport control with a Sky Go on. Aditya has said, Savva, Poch is the most overrated manager I've ever seen. If he couldn't win a trophy with that team, how will he with a worse team? Moving on. Aditya, one day won a trophy. Is he better than Poch? On paper, and the history books, unfortunately, will show he's a winner. Not only did he win with Spurs, he also won in the Spanish league, if I'm not wrong. So, unfortunately, as much as people go, oh my God, you don't know any facts are facts. Dave Clark said it took Liverpool 30 years, so still a long time to wait.
To win a league title. What do they also from when they last won the league in 1990? The 92 season, no, what was it? The 1990 season, weren't it? The 89-90 season, Liverpool last won the league. Up until when they won it, how many trophies did they win in that 30-year period? They still won trophies, man. So
yeah,
that don't stand. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Ron has said, Savva, I said that to your reaction. Of course, I'm Enoch Levy out all day. I know you are, Ron. You get to know your guests. Dave Clark has said, Savva, what do you do for work, mate? How do you get to New York City? How do I get to go? I was going to say plane, and then I realized he said, how do I get to go? I am head of global talent for a blockchain crypto company, and their head office is in New York. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, that's sick. I rate that.
Yeah.
I think that's why we get on so well.
Apparently, I don't deserve such a great guest as the great Gav Mack. Gav, get off. I don't deserve
Rivalry aside, man. We're fucking good at me.
Freddie has said, yeah, one day Ramos won a UEFA Cup with Seville. Here's one of my trolls. This guy hates me, but watches me. It's good fun. Hello, Matt. Savva, Levy is the reason the club is able to attract managers like Poch, Jose the Dinosaur, and Conte. Right, let me pick apart your really badly written post here. First of all, attracting Poch. When he attracted Poch was Southampton. That's not, I mean, it wasn't like he had tenure. So, no. Attracting Jose the Dinosaur, which one is it? It's either that we've attracted him because of Levy or he's a dinosaur. Which one is it? And Conte. Yeah. Okay, we've attracted Conte because we've put a £20 million pay packet in front of him. Jesus Christ. Our standards on the floor. Here you go. Just quickly before I come back to you, Gav, Yolande Ramos won 2 UEFA Cups. He is light years ahead of Poch. Unfortunately,
it's a little bit extreme.
Pardon?
Light year, a little bit extreme.
I don't know about light years, but do you know what? We was having this chat the other day with Henry Wright, Gav. Me and Henry and
Henry. Big up Henry, by the way. As well.
Yeah, big up Henry. I think he's doing a show with someone tonight. I think he's on with Fuad and Tobes tonight. What makes me laugh about this is not Conte. We were talking the other day about Emery, and forget whatever you think about him as an Arsenal fan, right? You cannot deny the fact, not you, I mean fans, that Emery, right, is 5 Europa League finals and won 4 of them. That is outstanding. He got this Villarreal team with, I mean, how many Spurs, with 4 Spurs rejects, Coquelin from Arsenal, Danjuma from Bournemouth. Yeah. He's got them to a Champions League semi-final.
They're balling out. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Anyway, Gav, let's get back to you talked about a rebuild. Now, Spurs fans talk about a rebuild all the time. Now, I think the difference is I think Arsenal have something to rebuild from your recent history.
Yeah.
Spurs, for me, are building because there was nothing to rebuild from. There was no success to say, like you look at Man United, you go, right, they're rebuilding maybe 7-8 years down the line, but they're rebuilding because they were the best team in Europe for however many years, and England, and blah, 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 under Fergie. They're rebuilding. Spurs are building. So does Arteta, for you, get some slack for the fact that in his time there, of your best 11, maybe 8 of those players are his signings, and he might get you Champions League? And is that bad a job from where you were 5 years ago to now? If he gets you Champions League, with most of them being his players he signed in the last 2.5 years, and he's won an FA Cup, is that bad? Does he get slack?
Yeah, I think he does, and like he gets slack from me as well. You know, I don't mind. I don't mind criticising, because at the end of the day, I want the best for my club, and I think the best way of doing it is by criticising and hoping that they respond in the right way. And by saying that, look how thin our squad is thin, innit? You know, when you see the starting line tomorrow, we'll see a starting line. We'll be like, oh yeah, that starting line was not too bad. Look on the bench. It will be Pepe, it will be Lacazette, it will be Leno, and maybe Holding or White. Other than that, you'll see numbers in high-end double digits.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on a minute, who are these? Because he's turfed out a lot of the dross and a lot of the crappy attitudes. And when I see that, I actually tip my hat to him quite a bit, because not many people would have the bollocks to do that. How many teams have got egos that are way bigger than the club, yet next thing you know, next week when you see the team sheet, you know that guy is starting for their club.
Yeah.
You know it. And what I love about Arteta is like, nah, sir, I don't want you anywhere near the team. I don't want you anywhere near us. Look at the Aubameyang situation.
Yeah.
Look at Lacazette. Lacazette got dropped not because his form was bad, because he was the senior figure in the starting lineup. So even if he was playing badly, he was still going to start. He starts dancing around saying this, that, and the other. It's like, now you drop them. See you later.
Yeah.
I look at that, and that tells me that is a guy that is meant to be here. Imagine what he would be like when he's got like top end players. We've got a young squad, you know, average age is 23, 24. Yeah. And that's only because we've got a couple of older lads that are playing, whereas everyone else in their early to mid 20s, starting week in, week out. They can't wait. They are all buzzing that there's no World Cup this preseason, because they could all just sit down and chill and do jack all for 6 weeks.
Do you know what I find funny? Like when I look at the difference between Arsenal and Spurs, I always say we're kind of at the same place. I think we've kind of met in the middle, right? Because I think the difficulty with Spurs is, let's start with Arsenal. When I look at Arsenal, I look at in the last 3 years or 2 years even, you've signed Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel, Tierney, maybe 2.5 years ago, but Tierney. You've signed Partey in that time. You've signed not Martinelli. You've brought through Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli in that time, Nketiah in that time. And when I look at that, and then I look at Spurs, right, and I look at Lloris has been there forever. Ben Davies has been there for 8 years. Davinson Sanchez has been there for 5 or 6. Dyer's been there for 8 years. Harry Winks has been here for 6, 7, 8 years, depending on whenever he first made his debut. Lucas Moura has been there forever. Kane's son's been there forever. Dele Alli, until this last window, had been there forever. And it's just, for me, there's not enough change at Spurs to give me any optimism. Now,
I just think that's where it goes back to the Levy thing, because then you spent, how much money have you spent over the last X amount of years? If you were to go out and splash 300-400 million over this next window, what chances would there be that you get done by financial fair play? What players actually want to go to Tottenham?
We're good.
What players want to go to Tottenham? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but we look at the Luis Diaz situation. He was there ready to sign on the dotted line. Man turns up at Liverpool and he's balling out. Same sort of thing happened with Willian when Willian when he first came over to the Premier League. He was there at Tottenham's training ground. Next thing you know, he's playing for Chelsea. turning it on, doing his thing. Ignore what he did at Arsenal, even though I don't think he was as bad as Arsenal fans make out. But like, I just think what pull of Liverpool of Tottenham got. Do you then go and try and do what Liverpool did and go to the lower league sides in the Premier League and be like, do you know what? You're not as good as us. We know you're not. But you're the best player in that team that you want to progress. You want to move forwards. Why don't we lob
like Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson?
Exactly. Liverpool did it, and Man City did it to a degree as well. Like Man City were going out and buying your man, like the names of Lescott and Gareth Barry, and Arsenal were knocking around in fourth and weren't ready to go and win a title. So they were like, all right, let's go get Nasri off you. Let's go get Clichy and Colo Touré off you. You know what I mean? Let's go get Mahrez off Leicester. I know you just won your beast, but then do you see what I mean? Like, what is stopping Tottenham from doing that same thing?
Yeah,
and that's
I agree.
It's not a rebuild. Then it's growth.
Right.
Because as you mentioned there before, you are rebuilding of what? You haven't built anything to rebuild. You are still in the foundations of doing things. Man United are in a rebuild. Man United need a rebuild. Arsenal, to a degree, need a rebuild. But
Leicester need a rebuild.
Leicester need to hit the restart button and start all over again.
And the thing is, they will. They will. So just quickly, I just want to just go through. I know you haven't got long to go, Gav. So whenever you need to drop, you drop, and I'll continue talking to these lot. But by the way, Dave Clark, he thought I was a plumber. I mean, yeah, Dave, they sent me all the way to New York to sort out somebody's toilet. It's only like
than that. I work in M&E recruitment, right? I work for a very large tier 1 M&E contracting business, all right? So I don't dig up plumbers, but I also want to know the answer of his question, because no, that wasn't his question. There was someone else who asked something earlier on today about knowing the insight of a little bit of crypto. So if you feel to slide in my DMs after that, Savva, feel free to.
Have I got any insights into crypto? if I've got insight into crypto, do you think I'm going to tell everyone on here? Let's have a look just quickly before we go. So Savva,
what did you just message me? Go deep on Ethereum or whatever.
Who said that?
I just got a message from you, bruv. What are you saying?
Deep on Ethereum. Might as well go for Bitcoin. Here we go. So Matt, my stalker, has said, if club can offer a 20 million package for the manager, that means Levy is doing a good job for the facts. No, that means Levy's doing a great job in making sure that we've got money, because he's not spending it on footballers to win us things. Think about what you've just said there. If Levy was doing the right thing, he wouldn't just bring in Jose and Conte. He'd turn around to Jose when Jose wanted Skriniar, and he wouldn't bring back Roden from Swansea, right? So back-to-back UEFA Cups, think we're in that. Kroenke in. Savva, is my crypto portfolio going down? Savva, why is it going down? I mean, I don't know what your crypto portfolio is. Big question. If Conte walks, what will Spurs do? We can't just replace him with any donkey from the back arse of nowhere. It will be mayhem. I've always said, Ron, if we Bielsa, I've always said this is the problem now. Levy's, he had Poch, he's had Jose, he's had Nuno, he's had Conte. If this doesn't work out, for me, it's a surefire sign, and maybe then fans will wake up that it's never going to work with anyone under this ownership. Do you need to go, Gav Mack?
I've got 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So we'll just quickly go through these, and I've got one last topic for you. Did you see AFTV's preview of the game with Henry, Tobin and Fuad? That Julian guy said he would take Martinelli over Son. I mean, I think we both know that's ridiculous, don't we?
That's a dickhead comment. I'm sorry. That was there for clicks.
Of course it was.
Son is world class. I would actually argue Son is your only world class player.
I'm not. Please, Gav. This is what led to me being called racist. If I have the Son world class argument anymore, I'm going to cry. I'm so bored of it. Party after party. Spurs is more attractive to top players than Arsenal. I would say Conte is more attractive. However, if Arsenal get Champions League, why on earth would we be more attractive than them? I'll leave that with you, party after party. Why? A club that hasn't won anything for 14 years, which with players can clearly see Levy doesn't back the team. Big up Savva and Gav. I don't know why I wasn't allowed a capital letter and Gav was, but never mind. Levy is the biggest problem. Yes. Spurs have a nice project, world-class players and an elite manager. You must be watching
1.5 world-class players.
You must be watching a very different Tottenham Hotspur project to me. I'm so bored of project. Last two, I lost 4K on crypto. Oh dear, Dave. Sorry to hear that. If Conte walks, so what?
He invested in SHIB. He thought that SHIB coin was going to do bits. We all believed it. Don't worry.
Yeah. This is the last comment before I talk to you about the last thing, right?
Yeah, man.
If Conte walks, so what? The club is in good hands. Levy will sort the situation out like he always does. Right. 2 parts. Let me tear you apart again. The club is in good hands. Well, if Conte goes and Jose went and Poch went and Nuno and Redknapp went and AVB went and Ramos went and then why is it in good hands? Because it shows a history of failure. And he'll sort the manager situation like he always does. What? So we'll go and get another person like Ancelotti that we'll pay 20 million to, who won't be backed, and then our fans will still say it's not Levy's fault. Right, Gav Mack, here's my last question to you before you go. I want to talk to you about this fella. I was watching a little bit of a show earlier, and I couldn't believe that the guests were talking about this bloke as though like he was Big Dave who plays up front at the Dog and Duck on a Sunday. Right? Talk to me about this fella.
That's where Wellingborough Town play. Wellingborough Town play at the Dog and Duck. It's about a 5-minute drive from my house.
Possibly.
Anyway,
right. I can't fathom for the life of me. There are fans saying, "Oh, will he adapt to the Premier League? Will he score goals? Will he struggle?" I'm sorry, I don't see in any way, Gav, how this guy does not come here and score goals for fun.
Savva, you know I'm a Bundesliga merchant. This guy is the second coming of Christ. He's unbelievable, man. Honestly, what a player. Anyone who thinks, "Oh, Bundesliga tax well, look at what Timo Werner's doing." Well, I'll tell you what, Timo Werner is still a top end player, and you take him out of that Chelsea side and put him in the Liverpool side and play him on the left hand side for Liverpool. That guy's bagging left, right, and centre. I will die on this hill to say that. Haaland, I'm worried he might not sit in the system that City play.
Mm-hmm.
But every game that he plays, he will make an impact of some variety. Every single game.
Don't you think that if Pep's bought him, Pep's clearly got a plan of what he needs to do with Haaland. I mean, okay, I'll throw this at you. If he plays 30 league games next year, let's just say he misses 8. I don't know what. How many?
He plays 30 games. He scores 20 goals.
Right. Okay. Why are so many people? Oh, but can they hack it in the Premier League? This guy scores for fun in the Champions League, and this league, as we've just explained, this league, as we've just explained, outside of City and Liverpool, is so bang average. I mean, look at Chelsea.
But the thing is, like, if you look at there's players that will come to the Premier League. They're playing they're playing a particular style. They're playing in a certain club. They leave that club and go somewhere else, and they look like dross. There's one player who I love from the Bundesliga who's come over to this country. Look at the service that he's getting. I'm like, man, you went from that to this, like, and that's Wout Weghorst. Wout Weghorst goes to City. He's bagging because if you look at the talent that is around him, he's got something to do. He's got something to bring to every game. He really has with his presence. But who is delivering the ball for Wout Weghorst? Nobody. You got then Haaland going to Man City. He's going to have Bernardo Silva. He's going to have Mahrez. He's going to have De Bruyne. He's going to have Foden. He's going to have Grealish. He's going to have Cancelo. He's going to have Zinchenko with balls from deep. He's going to have Rodri from balls from deep. Haaland can come deep and win the ball as well, and he will power through people. I don't know if anyone's ever seen him on the international stage. I don't know if anyone's ever seen him in the league. I don't know if anyone. Look, the man is scoring against Bayern Munich as well.
Gav, are you ready? Go on. Are you ready, Gav? Look at this. This is what makes you laugh. Apparently, the Premier... Right, Gav, I need to ask you, right?
He has the greatest injury.
Hang on, Gav, right? I need to get this out. I've been hearing for years how physical the Premier League is. I want to break this down. Where is this physicality? Because when I look now, Liverpool and Man City now most of them are all small technical players these days. All right, with a Van Dijk and a Diaz at centre half, right? Where are these Chelsea, even throughout their team, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, Mount, they're all... Where is this physicality? This isn't the days of Neil Ruddock and Terry Butcher. Why do we have this belief that this league is so much more physical than any other?
Of history. English people, we're English people. We can't let go of history. It's the only thing that sticks. And when it comes to football, once again, we can't let go of it. Talk to Man United fans now. Man United have not been relevant for 8 years. Arsenal not been relevant for nearly 20 years. You know what I mean? Like Liverpool weren't relevant for a number of years, and then start becoming relevant then, and then all of a sudden they think that they've always had it. You know, it's just like that might sound a little bit contradictory to what I was saying about Liverpool winning trophies in the last 30 years. They have been winning trophies in the last 30 years, but they haven't been consistent and they haven't been overly relevant in that time. There's still times when Liverpool were finishing mid-table. You know what I mean? Like they had man like Voronin and Seb Coates and players like that. Do you know what I mean? So don't forget certain situations. Don't be clouded by your view. And when you talk about when you got a world-class manager in Klopp, don't tell me that manager has never got a team relegated in the past and always had Dortmund relegated in the 14-15 season. So just remember that. But like, I just feel like sometimes we cloud ourselves in history and nostalgia so much that we actually forget about the current day and where we are right now.
All I know is I watch Premier League football now, and I think the defending is worse than I've seen it for 20 odd years. Right. If you actually look at the caliber,
you look at fullbacks nowadays, right? And people are first thing they will ask you, how many goals and assists does your fullback get you?
Ridiculous. Look, the problem is that I look at the caliber of defenders. I look at the caliber of defensive midfielders and big, strong midfielders that get stuck in. Who is it that Haaland is going to be out? I don't know the words. Out muscled by. Who is? Okay, he's going to have a really tough game against Van Dijk, like anyone would. But who other than that?
Van Dijk. He'll bully Van Dijk.
Mate, listen. This makes me laugh.
Some like feeble, like 2'8" guy like myself. The guy is like 6 foot beyond. Yeah. He's got strength for days. He out muscles so many people. You'd have to put two.
It's embarrassing.
You'd have to put 2 or 3 on him, and that will just open more space for Man City just to have so much fun with him.
So let's ask party after party.
A player like six on 3 because everybody's focused so much on Haaland. Haaland will probably end up, but I already said that, Haaland, in 30 games played, Haaland would get 20 goals. Haaland probably only have 2 goals. But then the rest of the team will benefit. The rest of the team will benefit from it because it'll be 4 on 2, 5 on 2 every single time attacking.
This is how you know that the fans like this, they don't watch any other football. So apparently he'll be bullied by Van Dijk, Zuma, Romero, Konate, Gabriel. I mean, I'm sorry. Party after party. First of all, you have said that he'll take 2 to 3 years to adjust. Tell me then, in your next comment, just tell me how many goals will he get in the league next year? Right? How many goals? I think this is probably a truer statement that Haaland is made for the Prem and would probably struggle more with the kind of tiki-taka style of La Liga. But Dave Raybould said it. He's 6'4" and built like a train. He'll be fine. I watch.
He sees through people, and he's got such a peg on him. He can score with both pegs as well.
He's amazing.
Look at the goals that he's scoring for Norway. So therefore, I'm talking about international level. Yeah, they might not have made it to the Euros. They might not have made it to the World Cup this year, but he is still playing international football, and he's guaranteed start every single time.
We'll do anything. Can you imagine, just before you go, mate, can you imagine if Erling Haaland was English? right? These same fans, if Erling Haaland played for Spurs now, first of all, he'd be the best striker in the world, right? Second of all, no one can contain him. Because he plays in Germany, coming over here, it's right. Okay, so just quickly, party off play. He'll get 15 goals in the Prem, only 15 in a Man City team. Now, if he gets 15 goals in the Prem, first of all, I'd say that's not terrible for your first season.
Return, is it? Let's be honest.
but I, as I said, 15 goals from 30 games. I think this man will score goals for fun in the league and the champ. I think he'll score for fun in any team you put him in world football. Not bearing in mind the caliber, whatever. But I honestly don't think fans like Party After Party could have watched him play, because when I watch him play, I go, he's 21. Like, the guy is a beast. There's fans on here saying he wouldn't get in the Spurs team. I don't care. If you sign Haaland, you find a way to play him and Kane.
Well, right? I'm not being funny, right? Just saying, if I was a Spurs fan, right, and I was, I'm a Spurs fan, and we just signed Haaland. Well, that is 4-2-3-1 written all over it, and Kane is playing in that hole in behind.
Right. But I mean, here's a question for you. Here you go. So Dave Clark said Kane is better than Haaland. Now,
okay. Let's
Kane's 29, right? 28.
Let's be honest with our comparison. Kane at 21 or Haaland at 21? Who you're taking?
Kane at 21 was probably still out on loan at like Leicester or Norwich or Millwall
or Millwall or some shit. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
I don't know why so many football fans
if you don't compare, it doesn't count.
They have this and Freddie, I agree with you. I do. I think his all-round game is very underrated. He's not just a finisher. But then fans just go, Kane is better. Let me ask you a question. What is? I'm going to sit on the fence. What's Kane better at than Haaland? I just want to
link up.
Okay, but you're not buying Haaland to be link up, are you?
Precisely. So right. As I said, if I was a Tottenham fan and I was like, oh, we've got all the money or whatever, and we are signing Haaland, I'm saying, well, Kane, I love you. You're sitting a bit deeper, and then I'm playing Son on one side, whoever on the right hand side, don't really matter, and then Haaland through the middle, and there'll be goals galore. But the only issue is, you got Romero, so.
Mate,
Romero. Sorry, Romero's all right. Emerson Royale. Sorry,
mate. Emerson Royale. He'll ruin any team. What makes me laugh? So I was just checking something on Wikipedia. Sorry, bear with me 1 second, mate.
Don't check things for the key. Check it on transfer.
Okay, so my problem is this. It's things like shiny new toy syndrome. Shiny new toy syndrome. As a football fan, you're telling me that shiny new toy Haaland you wouldn't want at your football club. And this is why, Gav, Spurs fans, our bar is down here. Because
you probably have Son over Mbappe, these Spurs fans.
Mate, hang on. We watch clubs like Man City buy Haaland and find a negative in it. But what we will do is we will gas up buying Papa Sarr and Brian Hill. And I'll finish this. I'll let you go, mate, because I know you need to go. I'll finish this by saying, if anyone's got any questions, I'm going to stay on for half an hour. If anyone wants to ask any questions, I'm going to finish this by saying I'm going to start my own T-shirt range of Tottenham Hotspur T-shirts that says you have the club you deserve. Because if you truly believe that Haaland is just a shiny toy, why did every club in world football want him? Let's be really, really honest. I just can't. Sorry, Gav. I just don't get where these fans are. Here you go. Look, like Ron said, just so you guys know, Haaland 21 is the highest Champions League goal scorer in history at his age. I mean,
I know,
mate. Listen, it's been an absolute player. It's been an absolute pleasure, Gav. Look, I'll tell you what we'll do for next season. When the season starts, we'll have a Sav and Gav show once a month where we can look at. We can pit Arsenal versus Spurs, see where we both are in the league, what's happened, yada, yada, yada. Down for that?
I love that. And also, I need you to get yourself to Northampton. Come do the radio show with me one Saturday afternoon as well.
Man, we'll do it. Sorry, just quickly, I just want you to answer this. Can I just say, every club in football wants Kane. Tell me when every club who's bid for Harry Kane other than Man City?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm just saying. Every club in football wants Kane. Where's the proof? Every club in Haaland's agents did a round trip of Europe speaking to all of the club's representatives. I don't remember Kane's doing that. There you go. Savva, you always do this. Whenever there's a new player available, suddenly the player you have is the worst player in the world. I mean,
Who's the worst player in the world? I'm confused.
Apparently, because I've said I'd like Haaland at Spurs, it means I don't like Harry Kane anymore. That's Spurs fans, Gav. You can't have both.
That's why I'm an Arsenal fan, man. You know what I mean? We at least know what we're doing, where we are.
These fans are
wild.
Gav, it's been a pleasure, mate. Listen, you jump off. I know you've got things to do. Let's see.
Yeah,
let's see.
So well, it's an absolute pleasure. And just going to plug myself for a hot minute. Revolution Radio every Saturday afternoon from 2 till 6. If you're in Northamptonshire, you go to 96.1 FM. If you're not in Northampton, you either go to the Revolution Radio app, which is available on your smart speaker, on your iPhone or your Android. You go to the store. And also, if you ask your Alexa, I don't want to say it too loud, just in case she starts piping up. Enable the Revolution Radio skill and then ask it to play. Here we go. Start Revolution Radio. Alexa off.
Alexa, she knows it. Listen, follow Gav. He's not only a great guy, he just loves football and sport in general. So if you listen to his show, just tune in. But Gav, listen, thanks. You're a top guy. I'll WhatsApp you tomorrow and I'll speak to you then, man. Lots of love.
Much love, Savva. Take care, bro.
Good man. See you later. Bye. Right. Let's look at some of these comments. Guys, get some questions in. We'll go for half an hour if anyone wants to. I'm not doing 5 hours. I'm doing 2 hours tonight. What makes me laugh? Let's have a look. Have you noticed it's the same 3 or 4 people all the time that can't have anything said about Spurs without being silly? It's party after party. It's Stephanie. It's Matt Bengruzzi and that other guy who I'm glad is not here tonight. Every club in football wants Kane. Okay, I'm waiting for bids to come in. I'm not disagreeing with you, but let's see. Why has he got to 28, 29 then and only Man City have ever offered him? He's a good player, Savva, but lots of the big clubs were after him because he was carrying a cheap buyout clause. Mate, you don't think they were going to buy Haaland either way? Come on. I honestly don't think people watch football other than the Premier League because no one can afford Kane. Only City can afford him. Again, Matt, I love the way you write messages. You make no sense. Your first sentence actually contradicts your first one. Try rewriting it. Full ball. Savva, you're going to link up with Tobes and Fuad one day. Listen, I know Tobes a little bit. We did a show together a while ago. I don't know Fuad, but I do agree with a lot that guy says. I feel like he's sensible with everything he says. So I'd definitely do a show with them. Just quickly, did anyone see Sky Sports News earlier when Ricky Sachs from Last Word on Spurs put his Spurs and Arsenal joint 11 and only 2 Arsenal players made the 11? I did laugh. And anyone who goes, that was right, just think they're 4 points clear of us. All football clubs wanted him, but he had 150 million price tag. Only PSG and City can afford him. But he's not always had 150 million price tag. It can't be one or the other. If clubs want him, they'll come and get him. People bought Neymar. People bought Mbappe. People bought Coutinho. People have spent 140, 150, 200 million before. So you've got to get consistent with your answers. Freddie, you always bring a bit of sensibility to the conversation. This is maybe a bit out of topic, but after Managerial has passed, what do you think will happen? Where will his players go and how will it affect the agent market? Look, obviously rest in peace. Big character within football. I don't know how that works, to be honest. I don't know whether now they're just free. I don't know whether or not he worked for a company and somebody else will pick that up. I don't know is my honest answer. Get some questions in. Let's get some questions in. Come on. Let's get some questions in for Savva to answer. The thing with footballers is they peak at different times. Dave, absolutely they do. They do peak at different times. The difference is every now and then there's a player that comes around like a Haaland who was banging in goals at 17, 18 like he been a pro for 10 years. Not many have that, and he has. I think clubs know that Levy want very big money for Kane. Okay, but why wouldn't they try? They do something. I just fail to believe that nobody would ever come in for him. Noah, big up Savva Power. I'm a Gooner and I hope you're ready for the derby. Listen, I'm ready. I'm going to land as it kicks off. So that's going to be an interesting one from my point of view. Dave has said the joint 11 was trolling. Nobody could honestly do that. This is the problem. That's what I said the other day. I wasn't knocking Ricky. I've spoken to Ricky a few times. He's a nice lad. I really like Ricky Sachs. The problem is the reason why he will go on Sky Sports is because he will do things like that. Oh, pick your Tottenham 11. Your Tottenham Arsenal at joint 11. And there is 2 Arsenal players in there. Where's the honesty gone from it? You know, he can't truly believe that, or we wouldn't be 4 points behind them. Savva, Tottenham did a space on Twitter and only allowed the club puppets to speak in previewing the North London derby. No fans. That sums up Tottenham Hotspur. They don't want real fans. It's all people like the Chris Cowlins of this world. But someone will tell me off in a minute for saying that. Imagine being in the same room with Ricky Sachs and Julian from AFTV. Yeah, can imagine. Listen, I'd love to speak with Ricky. I'd love to get him on when he's not a host. I'd love to get some honest views, which aren't always, oh, Spurs are great, Spurs are great, Spurs are great. No club actually placed an offer for Kane, not even City. They just showed interest as far as I know. Oh, yep. Savva, I heard a couple of times you said you don't like Conte's style of play. What kind of sort of style do you like? It's not that I don't like his style of play. I just feel that with the players we've got, his style of play doesn't work. I feel that we're trying to shoehorn awful fullbacks that aren't wing backs into wing backs and wondering why we've got no creativity. That's just me. If it gets top 4, it gets top 4, right? Reverse it. What does Haaland do better than Harry Kane? I mean, he's more powerful. He'll bully defenders more than Harry Kane will. I think his finishing is, I don't want to say if it's better, but certainly this season and the season before, his finishing is on a different level. Look, I'm just saying, I've never said this was Kane versus Haaland. It just makes me laugh that fans can't understand why City have gone for Haaland. Seven, mate, do you think Arteta was a nearly man like Ollie? I mean, Arteta's got them over the line in a trophy, right? He got them over the line. So he's not really a nearly man. He's won something. I think the difference is Ollie was at a club where they expected success immediately. Man United fans haven't come to terms with reality yet that they're not the big club they once were. Sorry, that's not right. Massive club, but they're not the force they were. And I think Ollie was on a hiding to nothing from the get-go. Richard Knight has said, I agree, Savva. Arsenal 4 points ahead of us. Only 3 games left. Arsenal has a huge advantage. Of course they do. They still have an advantage if we beat them tomorrow. Noah said, do you think Conte needs to buy a midfield that can break teams down like Barella? Oh, for sure. Our midfield for me is so weak, it's so poor. There's no dynamism in there. There's no creativity. There's no flair. There's no, I don't know. It's just all very safe. Again, that's only for me. Get some questions in, guys. I'm going to go for another 17 minutes. Would you say Poch would get the best out of these players than Conte? Absolutely not. Most of these players were here when Poch was not winning away for 10 months and left us in 14th. So, no, I don't think he would at all. Ron, I think from next season, we have to ask Klopp the style of play he wants us to play. So Klopp would stop crying. Yeah, I mean, look, we did what we had to do against Arsenal, right? He did what he had to do. Laugh aloud, Kane will score 600 goals in the Bundesliga. I mean, I think, you know, when people get really dramatic, I think that's what you've just done. 600 goals. I mean, how many seasons has Haaland played in the... Can someone Google it for me? How many seasons has Haaland played for Dortmund? How many goals has he scored? I mean, we're talking about Harry Kane's got 12 league goals this year. So before we say he gets 600 in the Bundesliga, he's only got 12 this year. I'm going to laugh hard when Conte's backed and still wins nothing. Bring Poch back and back him. His style fits our club. His style fits our club. It didn't win anything. I just can't see that Conte will be backed. So never mind. We need 2 free new midfielders in the transfer window. Mate, I think we need so much over the next few years. People will go, oh, it can't be done in one window. But for me, why should it have been done in one window? Why should it have been done in one window? It should have been done for the last 3, 4, 5 windows. So all of this, oh, it can't be done in one window. It's not been one window. Where is Will Stewart? We need all the stats in the world. I've just messaged Will actually to see what he's doing. But I know he's got kids, so he's not always available. Haaland is a top player, but he wouldn't have a clue as the head of global talent for a cryptocurrency firm. Dave, you are spot on. I am better than Haaland with talent. So I'd like Haaland's more than welcome to come and join me for the day. We could swap jobs for the day, see if I could score a goal playing up front for Man City. Savva, you'll probably be offended if I say this, but Kane is one of our own, a Gooner, but love as well. But I'm not offended. I don't get offended by things like that. I don't get offended. I get offended when people call me racist because I don't find certain players world class. That offends me. Conte's playing style will change once he gets his players. His playing style is just accommodating a very poor squad. I don't doubt that. But what I doubt is when we say when he gets his players, right? When I say when it's his players, does any manager at Spurs ever get his players? I'm not sure they do. His players were players like Skriniar and De Vrij and Barella, yeah, and Laura Martinez. They were his players. His players won't be buying Johnny No One from League One. Haaland, 85 goals in 88 games, and he's 21. Wow. And these people are writing him off. It is unbelievable. Here we go. Stephanie, this is how I know you're a troll. So I don't rate Kane as well as Son. So why in Kane Son debates you say Kane is so much better only to compare him to Haaland who has done nothing? Gee, Stephanie, are you okay? Oh my God, I can't believe. I love Hong-Min Son. I cannot understand this theory that I don't like him. It is embarrassing. Why in Kane Son debates you say Kane is so much better? I think Kane is the better player. I didn't say so much better. Kane is the better player because he's got more to his game, more all round. And he's proved that over 7 or 8 years. Not difficult to understand. As a finisher, Son is brilliant. As a finisher, his all-round game, I don't think is. That's me. You know, they were having this debate on Tobe's Tapping Tobe show last night. He's a very good finisher, but there are plenty of other players I think that are technically better than him, passing better than him, skill better than him. Doesn't mean I don't love the guy. Come on, get real, grow up, Stephanie. Stephanie, hell no, we don't want Poch back. No, we don't want Poch back. Dave Raybold, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Skip and Winks is pretty depressing. It is. Nothing about that makes me excited to go and watch Spurs play. Nothing about that makes me go, oh, we're going to dominate. No. Sav, mate, who will get sent off? Romero or Granit? Oh, listen, I dread it. My worry about Romero, right? Romero's a fantastic defender. Yeah. I think he's a bit sloppy in the air. He's a fantastic defender. He's only young for a centre-half, but what he's got to cut out of his game for me is this rash nature. He did it a few times in the first half against Liverpool where he just kept giving the ball away needlessly with rash passing, rash diving in. However, Xhaka, now that's a completely different ball game. That guy you can wind up and get sent off. Has everybody subscribed? Please tell me. I think 4 or 5 have since I started this stream. If I could get 6 more subscriptions, I would be eternally grateful. As you know, it takes a lot of time to prep for these shows and time to put into this. Mr. DP has said, our players are like most crypto, overvalued and currently useless. Can't disagree with you there. Spurs have players from Poch, Jose, Nuno. Too many mismatches. Only has 2 of his. Okay. That's what I said earlier. There's too many players from the Poch era. Most of these players are from the Poch era. I can't think who is Joe. How many from the Jose era that start? Højbjerg, Reggie when fit. No one else. Most of them are Poch era, I'm afraid. And that's why this club has not progressed. We've not changed anything. It's the same players again and again and again. But you suggest letting a Lucas Moura or a Dyer go or a Davis, fans will back them to the hill. Conte's playing style will not change. It's like Klopp and Pep. They play with the same style despite the players. I agree with that. I think the playing style will stay the same. I think what we will see if he gets better players, there'll be more substance to that formation. But Freddie, I just query, will he get any players he wants? I just get the feeling that Bentancur and Kulusevski were more what was available rather than what he wanted. So let's see what this window brings. We'll have a look. Full ball, Green Street or Football Factory? Have you ever gotten in any scraps? Don't get any scraps. No, it's not me. Even though I might look like that UFC fighter. No. I liked both those films, actually. I haven't seen either of them for years. Noah has said, but Kane has done it in the Prem and Haaland is a risk. Is Haaland a risk? Do you know what? Let's come back to this in a year's time. Haaland is a risk. He was 51 million, one of the best strikers in the world for 51 million, and he's 21 years of age. Where's the risk? What risk? I don't know if you've seen him play, Noah. Ron Viniak, is there really people who said Haaland is shit? Well, I mean, what I would say, this and that. Listen to people in this stream, the way they're talking about him. Listen to the way these people talk about him. It's as though it's Mitrovic. They just don't. I don't think they've watched him enough. All the managers come to Spurs to lose their winning virginity. Yeah, of course. Jose did it. It will happen to Conte unless he's backed. You know, same old. Savva, have you ever met Vitalik Buterin, the Ephraim bloke? I've never met anyone from Ephraim. Met a few people from Bitcoin. I've met some people from some of the big global blockchain companies, but not anyone from Ephraim, I'm afraid. I like how you had to mention that you find Romero a fantastic defender. Else people would have thought that you find him terrible. Jonathan, that's the problem, right? I end up having to overcompensate because otherwise fans build their own narrative. It's like if I say I really like Romero, people go, oh, what do you mean really like him? He's world class. Because everyone's got to be world class before they've actually achieved anything. Like it's just madness. That's it. Party after party. For me, the glass will always be half empty. Party after party. How long have you supported Spurs? I'm guessing it's about 5 years. I've supported them for nearly 40. There is a lot of reasons why I don't get overexcited by Spurs because nothing has changed. So when you say the glass will always be half empty, tell me what's positive. Tell me what's positive. I don't want to hear Conte or the stadium. Tell me what else. And then we can talk. You can tell this YouTube thing is for the younger generation when they ask things such as, why are you not in London for the derby? Yeah, Jimmy, I think that made me laugh. Why am I not in London? I don't know. Why am I not in London? Because my job has sent me to New York City. It's just that simple. A bit gutted, actually. One of my clients actually offered me a ticket in one of the boxes at Spurs. But listen, needs must. Pay the bills. Conte, get one or two of his players. The rest will be for 10, 15 million stopgap signings like Road. Mate, Freddie, spot on. This is my worry. But what will happen, Freddie, is all of these fans like Stephanie I, like Party After Party, what they will do is they will justify that. So if we get to the end of the summer and we've bought 2 good players and then 4 bang average ones that are young and need time, they'll go, oh, but it's really good. We got these. That's what they do. They justify mediocrity. And then when you ask them, I've never heard Party After Party or Stephanie or, Son of a Son. I've never heard those people be rational. Everything it's amazing. There's no rationality to it. And that's fine. They'll get that with age. Sorry if that's patronizing, but they will. They'll get that with age. Phil Foden. Oh, Hello, big up from Henry Wright TV. I really want Tottenham to get top 4 as I rate Conte and Kane highly. Look, well, you're more than welcome. I've seen you on Henry's thread before. Have you subscribed? That's my question to you. Have you subscribed? If you haven't, please could you subscribe? That would be appreciated. Jimmy, people have responsibilities, kids. Yes, it's the thing called a mortgage and, being an adult and that kind of stuff. Dave Clark, you talk about Haaland and risk like my mate did when he told me to put my 4K into crypto. Putting 4K into crypto is great if you know what you're doing. Buying Haaland for 51 million when your owners own a country is not a risk. Let's be fair. If Haaland didn't do well in a year, I don't think that will happen. They could sell him for 100 million. Someone else would buy him. Let's be really honest. There's no risk. Kane didn't cost 70 million, so we can't rate him. Sorry, can anyone else please put their hands up and tell me, when was that said? Who has ever said that? Kane didn't cost 70 million, so we can't rate him. You do realise Harry Kane's my favourite Spurs player. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You're so childish. Oh, God. When has anyone ever... Right, so I get told off for rating Kane over Son, but now I'm told that I don't rate Kane. Just fucking ridiculous. Listen to yourselves. Noah, he is class. I get, but I don't know if he will deliver City the UEFA Champions League. Okay, but the success of Haaland can't be purely based on winning the Champions League. That's not down to one man. That's a team. So I don't really know what the point is there. Get some questions in, guys. Questions. It's all good fun. Savva, even if Conte is back in the summer, he won't get all the players he wants and probably won't sign a new contract and leave the end of next season. Let's hope I'm wrong. Les, always my worry with any manager at Tottenham. Always my worry. Especially if we don't get Champions League. When we're talking about him being backed, what does that mean? What does being backed mean? Was Nuno backed in the summer? People said he was. People said he was backed when we bought Royal and Galini and Gill and Sarr. People said that was being backed. Think about that. Who's your favourite viewer? Son of a Salah, Matt Benguzzi, or Party After Party? Party After Party, because he's never rude. I mean, I think he comes out with some ridiculous things, but he's never rude to me. Son of a Salah, just constantly... He's one of these football fans that loves a player, not the club. So it's a bit weird to have a conversation with because he can't have anything said against his guy. Just so you know, after the show the other night, I actually had somebody in my YouTube comments who came on telling me that I only favour white players. And it doesn't matter if I'm Greek because that's nothing to do with systematic racism. And I just said to him, what are you talking? This is football. Why on earth are people bringing race into football? I don't care if anyone's green, blue, pink, black, what. I don't care as long as they're a good footballer. My, oh my. Savva, would you love to see some crunching tackles tomorrow? Yeah, but in this day and age, you make a crunching tackle, you get sent off. It's just sad. I'd love to see some crunching tackles. The good old days where two midfielders went in for a 50-50 and got up and shook it off. Instead, now you get up and they go, oh, yellow card him, and every fan cries and VAR gets involved. Haaland, 30 million cheaper than Maguire, 20 million cheaper than Pepe. I mean, yeah, it's a bargain. It's not a risk. It's a bargain. My best mate's joined. If you are less than 40, how have you supported Spurs for 40 years? Were you a fan in the womb? Stephanie, again, one of these. I always say nearly 40 years. Nearly. Jesus Christ. Some of you people were just, I don't know if your schools have failed you or what, but the youth of today are so thick compared to when my age group were growing up. And I'm sorry if that's harsh, but so many of you can't listen. Okay, brilliant. Good. That guy is here. Yes, I've subscribed. Thank you very much, Mr. Foden. What a great player you are. Okay, I don't care if the signings cost 5 million or 40 million as long as the Conte approves them. Of course you don't. That's the problem. How will we know if Conte approved them? If you're buying someone for 5 million, what are you expecting? When was the last player we bought that was that sort of money that did well? Come on. Have some Have some ambition. You're what's wrong with this fan base. They'll rate it a 9 out of 10 window. Yeah, absolutely, they will. They will. We've never had anything better than 5. I agree. They will. They'll back everything. Dave, you were on the show the other day when I was going through the transfer windows, and all these kids were going, "Oh, that was a good window. That was a good window." They rate everyone. They rate everyone Spurs buys. It's sad. Conte will finish Arteta. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Grow up. Sun FC going for the Golden Boot. Sun FC. I told you, everyone, not a Spurs fan, a Sun fan. It's really sad. Party after party. Come on, man. What is wrong with the Twitter generation or the curling kids as well? They call them in Denmark. Mate, Freddie, these people are happy with anything. They've got no ambition. They've not been brought up with winning cultures. They've been brought up with just join in and have fun. And that's our fan base. What do you think of the new UEFA Champions League rules? Top in the Premier League gets Champions League. Say that again. That's 2 top in Prem gets Champions League. What? Sorry, definitely explain that to me. Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Top 5 in the Premier League. I think it's belittling the competition. I think the competition has been belittled for over a decade now. It used to be the champions, and then it was the top 2, then it was the top 3. Now top 4, top 5. It's not the champions anymore, is it? Because to get to finals and that, you don't have to beat all the good teams. You beat lower level teams. Yeah, I agree, PB and Jam. I completely agree with you. Where are we? Just quickly, has everybody subscribed? I know Son of a Salah unsubscribed the other day, unfortunately. That's bad news. Got up 20 subscribers today, which is lovely. Thank you for anyone who has subscribed. Haaland will be absolutely fine. Plus, he is a big and strong. Oh, he'll be absolutely fine. I've heard this about so many quality players that just come over and make it all look very easy. If we beat them, we should play. Oh, hang on, what's that? If we beat them, we should play their shitty little North London Forever songs to troll them. Yeah, their songs are embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed if our fans did that. How many Asian players are in the Premier League? Says it all. What does that say? How many Asian players are good enough to play in the Premier League? Why aren't clubs buying them? Is that the question you're asking? I don't know. The number of Asian players in the Premier League isn't down to me, my friend. I don't know. Full ball, Savva, what are your thoughts on Emerson Royal posting his highlights on his Twitter page? The guy's a clown. This is a very bad footballer. Same way Harry Maguire does this. Posts these videos of these passes he's done in a game. I saw Royal posted something the other day where he actually gave the ball away, and that was the video he posted on Twitter. It's really embarrassing. He's a very bad footballer. Keep getting your questions in. Savva, can we add to the list of GOAT and world class the term big club? We're talking about billion-dollar businesses. They are big. Yeah, I mean, I hate the term GOAT. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's normally said about people that aren't the greatest. It's just said about everyone these days. Question, Savva. At the start of the season, where did you see us finishing in the league? Have we overachieved the squad we have? So at the beginning of the season, I said I thought we'd finish 6th. However, as the league's gone on and we've seen how poor the league is, it should be 4th minimum. If this Arsenal team beats us to 4th, worrying for me. Big up, Savva. Always enjoy listening to you, mate. Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate that. Look, I'm just honest. If some people don't like it, if they don't like realism, I won't ever force anyone to watch. I'm not making any money off this. I'm just talking football. All right. What's wrong with backing my GOAT? What a child. It's worth noting Papa Haaland and Mino's agency raked another 75 million. So the fee is still a bargain, but it's not just the BVB release. Listen, whatever we look at it, whatever way we look at it, it's peanuts, right? For Man City, it is. For Spurs, we'd be going on, oh my God, it's so expensive. For Man City, it's peanuts. I'm a Tottenham fan, but I back Son the most. Okay, that's great. You do that. Then that means you're not a real Tottenham fan. You're a Son fan. I mean, Weird. Yeah, you always get an A+ for effort. That's what our generation is being taught. It is PB and Jam. It is. But you look at how many of these fans, they just, if we sign loads of 10 million players, as long as Conte wanted them. So if we go and buy a centre-half from Peterborough, you're going to tell me that Conte wanted that player? Come on, stop having a laugh. Right, how long until we need to block Son over salaries? Just pointless. Dave, European Champions League, new rules and format suggestions are just a pale imitation of the Super League. Dave, absolutely. I don't know what you feel, Dave. I just feel it's watering it down. You're getting to the stage now where nearly half a league from a country are in Europe. What's the point? It's meant to be the elite. It was never like this, but it's all money now, isn't it? Emerson was brilliant against Liverpool. Credit him where credit is due. He's a terrible footballer. I don't want this guy at our club. He is dreadful. And again, as we were saying, everyone, this is generation. They love everyone. They love bad footballers. Did they credit Emerson for the Liverpool game? Yeah, I think I did credit him. I thought that was his best game in a Spurs shirt, but I just don't want him anywhere near Spurs. Paying 80, 90 quid a ticket to watch people like Emerson Royale and Sessegnon. No, thank you. Twan55, have you subscribed? Sav, sorry if you addressed this, but do you predict Conte will be here for the next few years, i.e. Pep Klopp, or will he leave? I don't think he'll be here for years and years because it's not what he does and it's not how Spurs are run. I think he's too temperamental to put up with the ups and downs that Levy will no doubt put him through. I think he'll be at the start of next season unless something drastic happens in the window, but I don't know if that answered your question. Second, do you want him here for the long haul? And if not, then who would you want? Potter, Emre, anyone else? I mean, look, I'd like him to stay and build something, but it's not him I'm worried about. It's Levy. It's always Levy. Every window for 20 years has been Levy. Doesn't matter who's manager. They're not succeeding under Levy. It's why we've won one trophy in 20 years, 21 years. Twan, lastly, you're a wonderful asset, my man. So please stop getting upset with the idiot comments. I'm not upset. Twan. I'm not upset. I like to call idiots out. Yeah, look, the racist thing is just ridiculous. I'm not going to sit and be one of those people who goes, "Oh, I've got black friends and I grew up in a black area." Don't care. I have my friends from all different backgrounds. I live my life. I do what I do. I'm not racist. If anyone thinks I am, crack on. So have a look. T.O. Tibbs. Okay. There we go. I like the 5 teams can be in the Champions League. I've always said a bit unfair that clubs like Spurs, Arsenal, and United miss out. But then it's not the Champions League, is it? It's not the Champions League if those teams are in it. Why is it unfair if the teams that aren't good get into the Champions League? Don't get in. Why? Again, that's this era, right? This era of, it's not fair. Everyone needs to be in there. No, they don't. Get the best teams in there. How many black managers? I don't know what that's an answer. I can only think of 3 Asian players. Asia is one of the biggest countries in the world. So I'm going to pull you apart on this. Asia is not a country. For someone you call racist, how would I know that? Asia is a continent. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Mate, I don't know what. Son of a Salah, try answering a question. What's your point? Is your point that there's not many Asian players in the Premier League? If it is, I don't know why that's the case. I'm not buying the players for clubs, am I? I don't know what black managers, what's that got to do with anything? I just don't understand the world. That goes teams like AC Milan, Roma, Seville that have a huge following and make it more competitive. I don't want to watch Malmo versus Sporting Benfica. Yeah, but Jimmy, it's not what you want. It's what the Champions League is. If they're the champions of their league, they go into the Champions League. That's what's wrong. People are forgetting what this is. Dave Raybold, they just want a Super League. They don't care about domestic leagues. They don't care about the historic. No, of course they don't. But look at these fans that want that as well. Asia as a country. Isn't a country, it's continent. Yes, it is. Savva, you should just shadow their commentary. They can still comment, but no one will see them. It's fine. Look, I like it. It causes controversy. Stephanie, son of us at Asia don't have a culture of football. That's why Son is the greatest Asian player of all time. Okay, I'm not going to get mentioning into that. PB and Jam, where are you? What are you even saying? Yeah. Can you categorically say he can't improve with a little bit of time? Are we talking about Emerson Royale? But my point is, why are we buying players that are that bad that we're going, oh, let's improve? Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, they don't buy these types of players. That's why they win things. Oh, Stephanie, I know it's because they don't have the chance. Okay, why does no one give them the chance? Are you telling me every club in Europe is racist for not giving these players a chance? The original Ronaldo or Van Basten, Cannavaro or Puyol, King or Vertonghen. This is easy. The original Ronaldo was one of the greatest footballers that ever walked this planet. He was a beast. He had everything. And if anyone who's young has not seen the original Ronaldo play, please go and watch him play. Although that's not just, I feel like I have to do this full ball now, not because of you, but that's not me saying Van Basten wasn't world class, because that guy was ridiculously good. Cannavaro or Puyol. But listen, I loved Carlos Puyol. I thought he was so good. Cannavaro for his height was brilliant. I think they'd be the perfect partnership. Politician's answer. And King or Vertonghen, Ledley. Hang on. Is Ledley King black? Oh my, sorry. It's Vertonghen then. It's Vertonghen. Ledley King was a Rolls Royce of a footballer. He was different gravy, and I suspect if it hadn't been for his injuries, he would have played a lot more games for England and probably gone to a bigger club. Talk about Conte without mentioning Levy. Do you like Conte or not? Don't mention Enoch or Levy. Of course I like Conte. Why would I not like Conte? Quite a simple question. If we already had a good right wing back, then yes, we can wait for anyone to improve, but we need someone for now that we're comfortable with. Fair enough. Good assessment. Tuan, Champions League rules, especially doing away with the away goals rule, one of the best in sports, plus VAR are two prime examples of higher ups ruining the game. Incredible. I agree. I like the away goal rule. I liked it. I think it made teams, I don't know, I just liked it. I just thought there was merit to it. And VAR has destroyed football as we know it, in my opinion. Keep getting your questions in. Son over Salah, why are there no players from Australia and New Zealand in the Premier League? Good question. I like that. Jonathan Leahy has said, Royal only had a good game because he didn't play as terrible as usually does. Still overhit so many crosses against Liverpool. Listen, he's just not a good player, Jonathan. His passing's awful. His crossing's awful. His positional sense is awful. This is not a good footballer. Yeah, man said Asia is a country. Yeah. And Son over Salah really he does really love me, doesn't he? He does. And I've invited him on the show a million times, but he's too scared. Maybe use your platform to spread awareness. My platform, mate. I'm not TalkSport. my show, my platform has been. I started it last Monday. It's 9 days old. What do you want me to spread? The whole Asian awareness problem or issue, that's for you. You want that problem. For me, it's not an issue. I don't care where the players come from. You seem really upset by it. This league has been full of foreign players for 20 odd years. I don't care where the players come from. It's you that's got that issue, not me. So no, I don't need to spread any awareness. Yeah. I used to, on my old show, try and spread awareness of racism, and I work on a lot of charity racism campaigns. But then I get idiots like you come on telling me I'm racist. So no, I don't need to spread anything. Football is not the biggest sport in most Asian countries. That's why you don't see a lot of Asian players in the Prem or in football in general. So you mean Asia, that country, the country Asia. I've supported Spurs for 21 years since the age of 13. I've only known Enoch ownership. I just want leaving it to go. Will this ever happen? I think it will when they've made their money. When they've made a few more billion, they'll go. They paid, was it 21 million they paid in total for this club? And 20 years later, we're worth, 3 billion? And in that time, we've had no success. If that doesn't tell you why they're the owners of this football club and what their agenda is, Nothing will. 39 likes, get Savva to 50. Thank you. That would be very, very nice. I would appreciate that. Who hasn't subscribed? We're creeping up. We're creeping up in subscribers. Let's have a look. We've still got Haaland on the scene. Savva Bro, was Christian Gross an awful manager because Spurs fans hate him for some reason? Look, Christian Gross was a nobody with no real experience with a really bad Spurs squad. I don't know if anyone was expecting anything from him. We were a shambles. We were a mess. We were an absolute mess at that time, the club. Greatest Asian player of all time was Filipino Paulinho Alcantara, not Heung-min Son, but he's pre-modern football, so nobody will accept that. 3-0 games, 3-0 goals for Barcelona. Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The younger fans, they don't want to know about any of the greats, Dave. They don't want to know about the proper players from the past. If they're not playing now, then they're not good. Commentators like Son of a Salah and Matt Benguizi provide some good entertainment gestures for King Savva. I mean, look, I don't ever want to ban people because I feel like the internet should be an open platform. But I just feel like when they get silly, they get really silly and they can't seem to have a proper conversation. That's fine when you're younger, but it won't, you couldn't work if you had that type of conversation style. Big up Savva, thank you. Appreciate that. I get the Savva, but if we're going by champions, then let either take it back to the start where only the champions entered. What is the difference between fourth and fifth? Because the problem is, in a few years' time, we'll be going, well, let's let the sixth place team in. Let's let the seventh place. There's got to be, it's got to be the best teams in Europe playing. It's got to be from each league. Emerson Royal is barely good enough for the championship. I wouldn't buy him if I was a championship manager. I think he is dreadful. No one wants to pay season tickets for their team to play Malmo, Sheriff and Bruges in the Champions League, not entertaining and offer low TV ratings. Okay, again, I don't understand what you don't understand. If Sheriff win their league and Club Bruges win their league and Malmo win their league, then they enter it with more right than teams finishing second, third or fourth. Why is this so difficult? Oh my God, can someone help me? Why am I acting like racism doesn't exist? It happens all over the time. Yet again, why aren't there any black managers? Where are the Asians? You can't answer. Son over Salah, I can't answer because it's not my issue, right? Of course, racism is an issue. It's a huge issue. I grew up in Lewisham. My friends suffered unbelievable racism against them. I've been witness to racist attacks, to people being stabbed. I've witnessed some of the worst verbal abuse for some of my friends who are Afro-Caribbean. My best man at my wedding is Afro-Caribbean, but I'm racist apparently. Jesus Christ. It's people like you telling other people they're racist and not accepting it. I am fully aware of racism in the world, but this is a channel about Tottenham Hotspur. This isn't a channel to raise awareness for racism. I think the whole world knows there's racism. What would you like me to do to spread awareness? Please tell me. God, these kids are idiots, aren't they? Savva, no matter what, you are not convincing me that the guy from Brazil was better than Son. Matt, this is where you've shown yourself to be a complete fool. I don't believe it was me that said it. Do you want to go back in your box? If you remember, it was Dave that said that, not me. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. You can't read. Ronaldo World Cup 2002. Oh, God, he was so good. I had a Brazil shirt and I wore it every single day that summer and went, mate, he was phenomenal. I actually saw him. I went to the World Cup in Brazil in 2014. 2014, I'm going to go with. I went to Brazil for a couple of weeks with a mate, and we spent most days down on Copacabana Beach at the FIFA fan park, watching the games on a big screen, and they had guests there, like Dwight York was there one day. And then the next day there was Ronaldo, the first Ronaldo, walking on the beach, and he had 3 or 4 bodyguards around him, but the Brazilians lost their mind. They lost their mind. It was like if a bunch of girls had seen David Beckham. People lost their mind. He was that good. He was sensational, but fans won't know him. He played for Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Ajax, Brazil, winning everything everywhere he went. He was so good. Give it a break, son of a son. Don't forget Spurs employed a black manager in Nuno. Exactly. Oh, Jesus Christ. I get it. Racism exists, but let's stop making everything racist that isn't, because what that actually does is belittles the problem of racism. Sav, please answer me. What players of ours, obviously, would you keep? I'm guessing 6 of them, the 3 up front, skip for the squad, Romero and Lloris until we get better. I would keep Lloris until we get better. Romero, Højbjerg for the squad, skip for the squad, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Kane and Son. The rest I've got no time for. The rest can go. I don't care. Chris Wood is a New Zealander. Yes, he is. Is he the only New Zealander in the Premier League, Richard? It's a question for you. Remember Craig Moore, Viduka, Harry Kewell. Yeah, there's been some Australians. Tony DeRigo, he was Australian, wasn't he? If anyone remembers who that is. The country Asia. Love it, Savva, you're a sharp. Well, look, I just know that I've got someone telling me that I'm racist. Someone telling me that I don't think there's racism. And then the guy doesn't even know that Asia is not a country. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Get some questions in, people. Not about racism, about football. The boy has never heard of Kagawa. Probably doesn't know Arsenal hired Wenger from Nagoya Grand Passat. All sports started yesterday for these people. Right, somebody called Joe, that's it. If you think about Asian players that have played in the Premier League, if I can think about it, you've got players like Kagawa. You've got Ji-sung Park, Lee Yong-pyo. You've got, who's the chap that Arsenal bought? Nakata? Who is it that they had in central midfield? Tomiyasu now plays there. I just feel like football's not been a big thing in Asia for as long as it has in Europe and South America. Celtic have just signed a number of players from Asia. I just feel like we're trying to create racism where it doesn't exist. And that is the problem with the world now. Many other problems, but that is one of them. Is it concerning you that most of the fans, they have no idea who Bill Nick? Oh, it's massively concerning. If you big up Bill Nick, our greatest ever manager that managed our greatest ever team with the greatest of success, you get called nostalgic. Jesus Christ. It's mad. Savva, did you love Everson at Spurs? He won the League Cup versus Leicester with Super George. I was there at Wembley, old Wembley. Everson never hit the heights he should have, but he was a decent striker. No more, no less. Decent striker. And if I'm not wrong, Noah, can you Google this, or can anyone Google this? Isn't Stefan Everson a player manager like in the 4th division of Norway? If I've plucked that from my head, I am amazing. Just putting it out there. Can someone tell me, is that true? Can someone Google Everson? Just block him. He's trying to bait you. He can bait me all he wants. It doesn't matter. I know I'm not racist, and I don't really care. It's not like they do not allow Asians and black people to manage football clubs. Exactly. Savva, mate, I also suffered as well because people stabbed in my eye and on my packs, mate. I don't understand what you mean, Noah, but okay. You're so against spreading awareness. Maybe have a bit of your show when you talk about it. This is a Tottenham Hotspur football podcast. What do you want me to do? You didn't even know that Asia wasn't a country, you clown. Stop. Go away. Jesus Christ. I've already said to you, I grew up surrounded by racism, witnessing some of my best mates suffer badly at racist people. And you would like to think that the world has moved on, but unfortunately it hasn't. That's not my fault. It's not my issue. I will raise awareness when I work for charities. I am not doing that now. I am on a Spurs football show. Ken, Old Trafford clapped off R9 after he scored a hat-trick. I remember that game. That was a brilliant game, and Ronaldo was sensational. Yes, sorry. Yes, Noah, it was PSV, not Ajax. Apologies. No Eric Dyer. No, for me, I want to see a change now. He's been at the club 8 years. He's okay. He's not for me. For me, this was a guy that was always on the bench behind Vertonghen and Alderweireld that we've now got as one of the main centre halves in our team. That shows you why we've gone backwards. Yes, Inamoto played for Arsenal. Yep. Nakamura from Celtic. Yep. We had Toda. Yep, we did. So all these Asian players that apparently never played in the league. We must be racist against the USA as well because there isn't a lot of Americans in the Prem. Ken, we're racist against everyone. I wasn't alive when Bill Nick was manager and also don't have time to learn. But you have time to go on every podcast and try and belittle people and call them racist, but you haven't got time to Google Bill Nicholson. Do you think I was alive when Bill Nicholson was manager? Get a grip. Iversen, player manager in Norwegian 4th division. He's 45. Wow, that is I'm going. Hats off to you, Stefan Iversen. Stefan Iversen was he was good for a period of time, but can I please get 5 more subscriptions in the next 10 minutes? Would be nice. Do people want me to stop? Want me to go on for another few minutes? Son over Salah at it again. I've just said, he just, you know what he's like. I was saying gangsters back home stabbed me in my eye and stomach, and it was one of my traumas. Well, look, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. No one wants to see or hear that. Ideally, we'd love to live in a world, right, where everyone's treated equally, where there's no racism, where it's not a subject. Unfortunately, the world is not a nice place, and all these things exist, and they will continue to. And it's terrible, but it does. It's like going to an NHS hospital and demanding that Levy backs Conte. I have no idea what that means. I mean, what a stupid comment. Oh, yes, because you talk about football, you're not allowed to talk about racism. Grow up, you child. You've got to be joking, Savva. Why do you still give that sort of time? Look, because I believe we should be allowed to read everyone's comments. As long as he's not being rude, I don't mind. Jonathan, Asian here, football is just seen as good prospective career, unfortunately, and the standards of football are just so bad outside of Korea and Japan, not because they're given a chance. Okay. Another Norwegian from the 90s Spurs alongside Iversen was Bardson. Jesus. Espen Bardson in goal. Retired young at 25 and is a fund manager at an asset company. I remember Bardson. He kind of had a little stint playing number 2 to Ian Walker. See, some Spurs fans, we've got knowledge that goes back past the last 10 years. Someone said, do you ask other football channels to do the same? Go to a politics channel, mate. And yeah, exactly. Let's get some football questions in. Football questions, please. I am going to the 3-hour mark and then I am dipping out just to the 3 hours. Right. Tomiyasu. Yep. Might be a bit sensitive subject, but do you think the Rent Boy and Pikey chants are offensive or just banter? I just think the whole world is offended by everything. You've got proper things like racism, and then you get things like this where football fans have been bantering each other with songs for years and years and years. And now all of a sudden people are snowflakes and everyone wants to be offended. I just think it's ridiculous. I don't have time to learn. Amazing. I'm an Arsenal supporter in America since the late 80s with a business to run kids, and I know more about Spurs history. Yeah, that's the problem. If you support a club, you want to find out about them. You can't just say, oh, I love one player. All these people talking about the past, it's boring. If there wasn't a past, our club wouldn't exist today. What you're all right. He's going on a timeout. He is so childish, isn't he? And I was like your 20th subscriber after hearing you on the Boy Hotspur conversation. Appreciate your earnestness. No, thank you. Somebody called Joe. Appreciate that. Look, I'll go on to anyone's show. I'll always be honest. I'll always be the same. I'll be candid. I don't just go, oh my God, I'm Spurs. I must say everything is nice. Dyer turns his back every time there's a shot outside. Yeah, mate, Richard, bang on. I've never seen a centre-half so scared of putting his body on the line as Eric Dyer. Look at the goal. What's his name? It's going to come to me. Brighton. Who scored against us for Brighton? Not Pascal Gross. Trossard. Dyer turns his back like that. Put your body on the line, like real defenders, the proper defenders. Nicholas, hello mate, welcome back. Do you think the league is wrapped up now that City have Haaland? I think, I think they're winning it without him. Now you add him to it, plus Alvarez, who's a fantastic finisher. I think they're going to dominate like they have for the last 5 years, right? I think this will be their fourth, and Liverpool have won one. And I think that will be probably similar in the next 5 years. Sorry, that wasn't the one I wanted to go on. Savva, in your left-back list, surely Lee Young-Po should have had a mention. Apologies if it was mentioned. Lee Young-Po was very limited. And it was my pet hate. He was a right-footed left-back. So we used to, when we'd sit in the stands watching him, we'd always go, how long until YP Lee goes onto his right foot? And he'd always go down the line, get to the halfway line, cutting on his right. He was okay, but I'm not putting him. He was okay. He was okay. Do you think Kane's window of opportunity to leave is gone? Yes, I do. Because Levy will ask for ridiculous money for him. And I can't see now. I don't know. I don't know. Man City have gone for Haaland. When Benzema retires, Madrid will need a striker, but will they look at Kane and go, he's too old at that point? I don't know. But I think he has. And I feel sorry for him because it's his window. It was his window to try and win something, because he's going to be one of the best players ever to have not won a trophy. I think we did this the other day, but can anyone name another player as good as Kane that's never won a trophy? Just saying. I used to follow Savva on Twitter in 2016. He was controversial about Poch. Then your Twitter disappeared. No wonder what happened to you. Now here you are. Okay, I wasn't controversial about Poch. I just called it as I saw it. Things are always controversial if someone disagrees with you, right? So because I don't agree with you, it's controversial, because I'm not a sheep, because I'm not a follower. I've never been a follower. I never, ever will be. Trossard. Yes, it was Trossard. Yeah, I thought it was. What happens to Spurs after Kane and retire? When do we start looking for them? Stephanie, thank you. That's a great question. My worry is when Kane and Son go. Because finding players of that ilk is not easy. And especially as Spurs don't stump up the cash. And if we're not in the Champions League, those type of players won't come. So listen, let's pray that doesn't happen for a while. But yes, I do worry about it. Every defender makes mistakes. Yes, they do. But Eric Dyer for the last 8 years has been really poor and turns his back. Always turns his back. Top players do not make mistakes all the time. Stop defending bad players. If you love a club, you know about the past. If you love football, you know about the history of football. Don't get people who don't. If you can't appreciate the past. Dave, again, but you're an adult, right? Son of a Salah's a kid. You're an adult. The problem is, if anyone turns around who watches hour, 2 hour, 3 hour podcasts and then turns around and says, I haven't got time to learn about the greatest ever manager at our club and the greatest Spurs team of all time, how can they support the club? He doesn't. He supports a player. You can't support a club and not know their history. That's not a fan. That's a casual fan. Sorry, Dave. That's just my opinion. Take Twitter, for example. People go out their way to find reasons to cancel people for no reason. I don't know what kind of sad pleasure or validation they gain out of doing that. PB and Jam, listen, I had some tough times on Twitter. Some of it my doing, some of it not. I'd never go back to that place. I think it's a cesspool of the lowest of the low. Van Dijk got rinsed by Coutinho. Again, you're a child. Would you take Unai, Mr. Good Evening Emery, if Don Conte leaves? Would I take Emery? I suppose it depends what the other options are, doesn't it? It depends. I don't know. Let's hope we don't have to make that decision. What made me support Spurs? I was taken to a Spurs game when I was 3, believe it or not, by my uncle, because I grew up in South London. But I didn't have anyone else in my family that liked football. My uncle took me to Spurs and then just kept taking me. Do you remember being a tiny little kid, like 3, 4, 5, and all of it was like, oh, what's going on? You know, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the age where you start appreciating it. And that's how you learn your history, right? Savva, mate, when George Graham was your gaffer, was the stadium toxic like how Everton fans treated Benitez? I mean, it wasn't. It was at times, because obviously George wanted to put emphasis on defence. I think when it got toxic for George was the way he treated David Ginola. He treated our greatest player at the time so poorly, and he was our only match winner. And I think the fans got on his back because of that. And it was the end of the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, whichever way you look at it. Is Jurgen Klopp greater than Bill Nick? I don't know, Nicholas. I mean, I don't know. It's so difficult. I mean, how long ago they play in different eras, different teams, both very successful. Doesn't always have to be about who's better, right? Both very, very successful. It's when we compare people who are not successful that it makes me laugh. Hang on. Oh, there's a lot of questions coming in. Kane is a one-club guy, best all-time Spurs player. He's definitely not the best all-time Spurs player. Again, I would suggest you probably don't know your history if you believe that. He's the best all-time Spurs player for you because you probably can't go back further than 10 years. Son, yeah, I mean, Son and Kane, again, neither of them have won anything. It's a shame. Both of them should be winning things. It's a real shame for them that when their career ends, at the moment, it looks like they're not going to win anything. Prime Messi or prime Kane? Not even a question. Kane not fit to lace his boots. Sorry, that's nothing about Kane. Kane is class, but Messi is an alien, not a human being. Who are some of the most underrated Spurs players in your opinion since you've followed Spurs? Oh, loads. Naeem, massively underrated. I think Alan Nilsson was an underrated midfielder. I think Michael Carrick was very underrated. I think Dawson was underrated. There's been so many players down the years. We always underrate the players that we shouldn't, and big up players that we shouldn't. You don't want Emre, good manager, but he still struggled with communication, not a language thing. The Spanish players struggled to understand. I mean, look, let's hope we never get to that decision. I would say Matt Letizia, a gifted player. Yeah, I think I said this the other day. Matt Letizia was just phenomenal. One club man, talented beyond belief. Just didn't run. But, I mean, for a midfielder, some seasons he got like 25 goals and didn't one year he get the top 3 in the goal of the season competition. He was phenomenally talented. Breaking Tottenham's goal scoring record means more to Kane. I don't think he's ever said that. That's you saying that. Harry Kane wanted to leave Tottenham last year. If he wanted to leave, how could the goal scoring record mean more to him? Use your noodle. It's not difficult. As soon as the season ends, Sky Sports and Gary Neville will try and settle Kane and ramp up the Man United rumours. I'm sure they will. It will be what will be. Savva was alive during the Bill Nick era, 70s, 80s and 90s. Multiple trophies I've witnessed. The last 21 years under Enoch has been numbing. Richard, absolutely. The last 21 years has been our worst under any set of owners and managers. But yet these fans will tell you that they're great because they've never seen success. Turns his back with his arms behind. So frustrating, Diaries. Yes, he is. He isn't for me. He now should be at for a bottom half club or a top of the championship. Is Kevin De Bruyne the greatest player in Premier League history? I personally think he's... I don't know about that. I don't know. Look, we could start a debate about who's the greatest player in the Premier League history, but there's been a few, hasn't there? I mean, look, off the top of my head, you're going to go Cantona, Henry, Shearer, Ronaldo. I mean, players like Vieira. I mean, Van Nistelrooy, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Vidic, Stam, Ferdinand, Desailly. Listen, there's been some real quality players, but listen, he's up there. He's a great footballer. He's a wonderful footballer to watch. Imagine we had De Bruyne. I know you're Liverpool, but he's a phenomenal player. Eric Dyer's been quality this season. I hate it how you have these stigmas. He's not been quality this season. The number of times he can't head a ball out, the number of mistakes he makes, and the number of times he turns his backs on shot. Stop saying that bad players have been good. It's embarrassing. Would you say Son lacks ambitions for resigning with our club for another 4 years? Would I say lacks ambition? I mean, No, because I don't think contracts mean anything anymore. Let's be fair. If a club wants Son, if a club wants anyone, no matter how many years are on their contract, they will go and buy them. Contracts just mean a pay rise for the player and more sell-on value for the club. Number of players sign contracts a year, 2 years later, they're gone. I don't think it's that. I'd be interested to see if anyone comes in for him and I don't know who that would be. So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think it's going to happen this window. I think Son could be replaced, but I don't know about Kane. If you look at world football right now, how many good strikers out there? Strikers are a dying breed. This is what I said the other day, and I got told that I was racist. Harry Kane, for me, does more than just being a striker, right? He's the centre forward, plus he drops deep and he play makes. Son as a wide forward, I feel you can get more of them. Let's just hope neither of them leave, though, because we need to be adding to their quality, not replacing. Great players to never won a trophy. Signori, wow. Did he not win anything? DiBaggio as well. Wow. Some of the younger people will be Googling those right now. Matt Letizia is probably the only one close to Kane without winning a trophy. He's never spoken about because he's never won a trophy. It's sad. Hope Kane don't end up the same way. Look, Jimmy, for me, I think the worry is if Kane gets to 35 or 34, whenever he retires and he's not won a trophy, okay, they can turn around and go, he's got the golden boot for England and the golden boot for the Premier League. But as a player, surely he'll look back at his career and go, look at what all my England colleagues have won and all the players I've played with have won. What have I won? Surely as a footballer. I think that's a really important point. Kane excels and costs Spurs nothing. A Premier League goal is worth between... Yeah, agreed. Son over Salah, Savva, there is no footage of Tottenham in the 60s. Of course there is. There's documentaries about it, for crying out loud. Son over Salah, can I ask that? Let's start fresh from now. Please, can you grow up? Let's start fresh. This is ridiculous. Of course there's footage. There's a documentary right now on BT about Jimmy Greaves, and he was in the 60s. Watch some of the football Spurs played. Wow. Yeah, if Son played for Arsenal, then Son over Salah would be an Arsenal fan. Of course he would. That's what they do, these people. They don't care about Tottenham. They don't want to know the history. Eric Dyer has had a decent season. What about all the other days he's been absolutely dreadful? I agree. Decent, but not great. Do you hold it against your uncle? Yeah, for making me support the Spurs. Yeah. Look, I mean, growing up at school, I was always at least able to say, oh, we've won an FA Cup. We won a League Cup. Nowadays, it's just nothing. Just can't banter any of the clubs. Man in a raincoat's blue and white army. You just fans like me that still hold the Champions final close to our heart and tell us to move on, but continue to bang on about the 60s. Jesus Christ, you fool. Because I'm talking about teams that won. I'm talking about things that have gone down in our record books that show we've won. You're hanging on to a final that we lost. Oh, my God. You kids have had a terrible upbringing at school. They've taught you how to be losers. If Everton go down, are they the biggest club to get relegated in modern time, or is it Leeds and Forest? God, that's a good question. I mean, to be honest, yeah. I mean, when Forest went down, it was a shame. Same with Leeds. West Ham. Do you remember West Ham went down? They had like Defoe and did they have the Trevor Sinclair and Di Canio, and I think they had loads of good players and got relegated. But they must be up there, definitely. Yeah, exactly wrong. I've watched many trophy-winning games from the past. Absolutely. If you want to learn about the club, learn about the club. Also, isn't a huge issue for you, Ari, the next gaffer? Can our new gaffer build or at least pick? Yeah, listen, yeah. It's always a worry for me when a manager leaves. We have that. Oh well, this manager will be able to do something. That manager will be able to do something, and it just gets a bit silly. Who is the best Spurs player of all time? If you don't think Kane isn't the one, I'll tell you three straight away: Jimmy Greaves, Glenn Hoddle, and Paul Gascoigne. Done. Next, Matt. And if you, Matt, I can predict your response. First of all, Paul Gascoigne was just Some of the older fans in this chat, can you tell me how good was Paul Gascoigne? He was ridiculous, wasn't he? Absolutely ridiculous. I can be a nostalgia merchant. Grow up. You're a child for calling anyone a nostalgia merchant. I know the club's history. You don't. You support Spurs because of Hong Min Son. You don't even know that Asia is a continent, not a country. You're a fool. Nicholas, what would you rather have if you're in charge of transfers at Spurs? Kane and Bale, both in their prime, or Messi? Messi in his prime all day long. Messi. Imagine that man in your team. Messi, just the greatest I've ever seen. Ever. As a Spurs fan, we try to fool ourselves that being top ever scorer for Spurs in the history of the Premier League means anything. It doesn't. No, it's a great accolade, but it's not success. You love history because you love see things in black and white. I mean, that's not a sentence, is it? You love history because you love to see things in black and white. What? Yeah, that's a good question. Who's the best manager to never win a trophy? I'll let you guys talk about that. What success have you seen, Savva, that's significant? As I said, I've seen 1 FA Cup, 3 League Cups, and a European trophy. I was at the final as a child of that Europa of that UEFA Cup game. I was there as a child. What success have I seen? Right. Does everyone want me to ban Son over Salah? Sorry, he's just not a Spurs fan, is he? He's an absolute fool. So, Savva, you're not grateful to Levy for our new stadium. Would you prefer we were still at the old White Hart Lane? Enoch and Levy response. Stephanie, grow up. I am a football fan. I don't support stadiums. Grow up. Why would I be grateful for a stadium that they charge us the most expensive in Europe to go into and then watch players like Royal, Dyer, Davis, Emerson? Have a day off. I would much rather be back at the old stadium. Yes. How can I sit with my friends and they're talking about their strikers, Drogba, Rooney, Henry, etc., and what they've won, and I have to bring up Kane and Spurs' top ever goal scorer? That's it, Jimmy. That's the problem. That will always be said against us. We don't win anything. But these kids, they don't want to win. For them, it's not winning because they don't know. Eric Dyer or Joel Matip? Joel Matip all day, every day. Eric Dyer is not good. You think Dyer has been quality because he looks better with 2 centre-backs next to him? I think he's been okay. I still think he turns his back on everything. He makes mistakes. He's not great in the air and he doesn't command. He's not for me. Disagree with me all you want, but here goes. I feel that letting Lamella go killed us. Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm not even reading the rest of that. Eric Lamella, another one. How long was he here for? God. Oh my God, you just can't see quality. Dyer's been brilliant. Oh my God, oh my God. Is Kevin Phillips because he has been winning nothing? Jesus Christ, Sav, it's not our fault we weren't born then. I wasn't born for the 70s and the 60s, but I still know about the club. I've still watched the footage. I still make it my business as a fan to know. Dyer turned his back for goals he's terrible. He's a terrible, terrible defender. He's a good character, I think, to have around, but he's a terrible defender. Eric Dyer's been better playing the back 3, so if players mop up his mistake. I agree. Who is the biggest club in England overall, United or Liverpool? I mean, both their history suggests it's both of them, right? Sitting on the fence. I just don't think Messi is the greatest footballer ever. I think he's the greatest athlete ever. Actually, I go further. I think he's the greatest man ever. I put him up there with Mozart. Oh, mate, he's something special. It's difficult because when you get 15, 16 years of watching Messi play football and then you have to go back and watch other players, it makes you grateful that you've been around during that era. Greatest Spurs player of all time is Jimmy Greaves. I'll fight anyone who says different. Gazza and Hoddle next. Mate, yes, it's obvious, but these people don't know that, so they think Kane is. Dave Mackay, what a player. Gazza is the greatest British player of all time alongside Bale. Yeah, Gazza was sensational. Kane is literally going to break our goal scoring record. Right? But what's that in response to? I don't understand what that Many forget how bad some of these players have been playing. If Sanchez starts playing well in the next 3 games, right, Jonathan, that is it. That's what we did. I watched a couple of podcasts last night, and all of a sudden it was, is this the beginning of the good things for Sessegnon and Royal? And you think, oh my God, one half decent game and our fans just forget. People like and subscribe to Savva. Disagree with the guy sometimes, but that's the point. He has strong opinions, and I love hearing him talk Spurs. Thank you, Twan. Listen, some things are opinions, some things are facts. That's the difference, isn't it? Kane, Bale, Modric, and Walker all in their prime, or Messi in his prime. I'd do anything to see Messi in his prime at Tottenham Hotspur. The guy was just an alien. Gascoigne was a bit like a 90s Bale, could win games on his own. He didn't have the pace or power or long shooting of Bale, but had insane dribbling ability and ball control. Yeah, Gaza was just phenomenal. I just love him. Definitely ban. I'm definitely gonna. He is ruining the show, isn't he? And he doesn't. He's not a Spurs fan. I only want Spurs fans on here. Okay, Jonathan. Some fans forget out. Yeah, sorry, we read that. Matt Benguzi. Club as able to pay wages for top players is because of the brand new stadium. Most of the top players want 100k plus in wages. Spurs couldn't afford them if he was still in White Lane. Who have we bought that's any good? Who have we bought since we moved into this stadium? Look at the shite that we have bought since we moved into this stadium. What a load of nonsense. Remember, Dyer was never supposed to be a centre-back. He was originally a midfielder. Yeah, I get that. He was average there as well. Yeah, I do agree. This is a terrible take. Eric Lamela was always injured, scored a couple of Rabonas, hardly scored across 8 years or 9 years that he was at the club. Yeah. Savva loves splitting their own players, but hype up average players like Matip. Sorry, you wouldn't have Matip over Dyer. Really, Matip, who plays centre-half for a Liverpool team that... Matt, you're getting banned as well. You're just a child, just like Son over Salah. Sav, I read this opinion. I personally think Harry Winks isn't that bad. I think he's terrible. Sorry, no, he's not for me. Not for me at all. Another one. The problem is we defend so many players. Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, Sessegnon, Royal, Højbjerg, Lucas, Sanchez, and Roden. We back these players over and over again, but there's a reason we don't win things. There's a reason this club has regressed. Yes, from what I'm told as well, Blanchflower must be in the convo. And wasn't he the captain of the 60-61 winning team? Full ball, you've spoilt that for me. Steve Perryman is coming on the show in the summer. I speak to Steve Perryman regularly. He's a really good guy. He sends me his podcasts. He always wishes me well. He's been on my show before. Unfortunately, many fans, when he comes on here, they'll be like, who's this guy? And a club legend. Great guy. Would you rather have a combination of players from Liverpool, Man City's benches or the current Spurs 11? I'd rather have a combination of their benches. Okay. Of course. I mean, look at the combination you can put together of their benches compared to our 11. We've got a dreadful 11. Savva Shearer won nothing but finished greatest Premier League goal scorer. No, what? I'm going to nip that right in the bud. Alan Shearer won the Premier League title, mate. Again, we've got to know our history if we're going to say something. Blanchflower, definitely, I think one that goes under the radar is Ardiles. Oh, Ardiles was brilliant. Ardiles was a fantastic footballer. Nicholas says, I don't know if you're trolling with some of these questions, dude. Prime Messi or Prime Kane? Okay, do you know what? I wasn't going to answer any more of his, but I think the difference is Son over Salah, right? And it's a good job I've got this on my phone. When fans like you say pathetic things like this, you can't engage your brain, right? So let's just put it this way. Jimmy Greaves scored 258 goals for Spurs in 381 games. Harry Kane's already surpassed 380 games. So there's this little thing called ratios. I really think, and if you had ever seen Jimmy Greaves play, oh my God, it was like watching Messi dribble with a ball. Go and watch the footage, watch the documentary. This man was absolutely ridiculous. Please learn your history. You're not Spurs fans. It's embarrassing. Look, Matip. Why are we laughing at Matip? We've got Dyer and Davis in our defence. Why are we laughing at Matip? Do you think we'll beat Arsenal? I do. I do think we'll beat Arsenal. Yes, Matip walks into our side. Yeah, this is what I don't get. We're talking about a centre-back who's played for Liverpool for 4 or 5 years in teams that have won multiple trophies, but he's not good enough for us. It's just I think I might put an age limit on the show, you know. This is just embarrassing. And even walking into our side, Matip would be more pacey than our defenders. Listen, Matip gets into our side all day long. It's a start, Savva. Spurs will start paying top wages for top players soon because of COVID. Clubs couldn't fill the stadium. I'm not hearing any excuses. Levy and Enoch have been dreadful for 20 years. I don't like them. You're not going to convince me. Savva, I know he won with Blackburn, but he scored majority at Newcastle. Yeah, but what's that got to do anything? At the end of the day, that man's retired as the Premier League top goal scorer ever and won a league title. So, Mac Wanguzi, you think Matip is average, but don't think Dyer is. Look how right. This is where it becomes ridiculous. Greaves was playing against electricians and school teachers. Right, let's block. Sorry, this guy's getting blocked. He's not a Spurs fan. He doesn't know his club. Just now he didn't know the 60s. Now he knows he's playing against electricians. Have you seen some of the footballers that played in the 60s when England won a World Cup? You absolute fool. Absolute. He's an idiot, isn't he, that bloke? Sorry, he's an absolute idiot. Matip is second. Van Dijk. That lanky giraffe will get exposed if VVD isn't holding his hand. Oh, Matt Benguzi, another one. He's just a troll. Martin Chivers. Yeah, Martin Chivers scored a lot of goals for Tottenham, didn't he? The revenue we will get from concerts and boxing matches will be allocated to Spurs transfer budgets. Oh, good God. Please go and support the stadium. Buy a top with the stadium on it. You fans are being fooled by Levy time and time again. You deserve this club. You deserve the club we've become. Level of football in the 60s was awful. Playing with shit boots, balls of seviers, bricks, and on agricultural pitches. Look at the figures. Yeah, mate, they don't know. Dave, they don't know because they've not done their research. They don't watch it. Joe Gomez or Eric Dyer? Joe Gomez. I think Eric Dyer is as basic as they come. Eric Dyer is one of these that, again, he's Spurs, is he? Yeah, Greaves played against the likes of Bobby Moore, someone else you probably know not right. I mean, God, how good was Bobby Moore? Wow. Why do people not appreciate the past? Most of the greatest to ever grace football picture from the past. Naz, I know you're Arsenal, we're Spurs, but mate, listen, I'm with you again. You see it sensibly. These fans now think these players are better because it's in their era. Us fans that have seen players right the way through the eras have got more to judge on. But look, I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes. If anyone's got any further questions, please ask. But Perlo or Xavi, Romario, Rivaldo, Scholes or Gerrard? Wow. Oh, are you doing this to me? I'm not prepared to answer Perlo or Xavi. I love both of them. Xavi, for me, was sensational what he did at Barcelona for over a decade. But Perlo just made it look so easy. I'll have them both. Romario or Rivaldo? Stop it. These players are too good. See, this is the era when you had so many good players. I'll go with Romario. I don't know why. I'm just going to go with Romario, but they're both class. Scholes or Gerrard? Both. I'm sitting on the fence. I'm so sorry, full ball. Pull me apart, cuss me. But you have to understand the game separates system players from genuine ballers. Shut up, you fool. Why does Trent perform the same way in England? Oh, shut up. What? Just stop. Aaron. Evening, Savva, late coming. You still got some of a. I've just put him in a timeout because Aaron, he doesn't He's telling me that Greaves and Hoddle and Gaza weren't our greatest ever players. He doesn't understand why we talk about the winning teams of the past, all that kind of stuff. You've been through more than half our team and said you don't think they're very good. I'm not trolling yourself, but I think a big reason as to why. Yeah, because I don't think many of them are very good. Tottenham Hotspur, we are where we are because of Kane and Son. We are so bad in most games, but Kane and Son put these little moves together and get us out of trouble. I don't think our team is good. Dyer, Davis, Sessegnon, Royal, Reggie, Højbjerg, Bergwijn, Mora, Sanchez, Roden, Galini. I could go on and on and on. These are not good players. Can you do a worst ever Spurs Premier League 11? Could be a laugh. Yes, I can, but not tonight. I'm tired. With that said, I don't understand how you think we'll beat Arsenal or pretty much anyone. I think we'll be. I don't, because again, look, I don't think there's many good teams. I think if you take City and Liverpool that are up there, they're not in the conversation. Chelsea are good, but have completely regressed lately. Other than that, I think it's a very poor league. Very, very poor league. Sav, you can't convince me that Trent isn't a systems player. I would say he doesn't even play right back at all. Most of the time he's right. I mean, I think the world has kind of agreed that Trent Alexander-Arnold's a fantastic footballer. I'm not sure what you're trying to prove. You just keep coming on and making yourself look silly. Savva, buddy, you're doing Monster Link streams the last few days. Legend. Aren't I the person who used to call people's work to get them sacked? Oh, God, this again. Let's ban whoever this is. Silly, silly comments. Block that user. Silly comments. Spurs will win the North London Derby 3-1. Please give me a shout out on the next show for my correct prediction. Yeah, I said 2-1, but I can see 3-1. I think we will beat them. Yes. You would be willing to free transfer Son to... Would you be willing to free transfer Son to Liverpool if Son was forced to take Son of us? Yes. I genuinely think we've got so many fans that have such low... You look... Son over Salah, Matt Boy and Guzi are two of them. They have such low... Party after party. Such low standards for this club. Such low standards. They talk about stadiums and infrastructure and balance sheets. They talk about how, I mean, look, they've just said that Matip and Trent Alexander and these players aren't that good, but then they'll talk about Sessegnon and Royal, and it just makes me laugh. I don't know what they watch. Mate, you should be out. De Bruyne or Modric? Oh, I mean, they play different positions. Both fantastic. Modric was just different level of central midfielder. Modric still is. You have to understand that teams such as system players are just used to make someone look bad, which is clear what you're trying to do. And if Trent was what you say, how does he score assists? Yeah. Lamella's no look pass. Kane the proverbial assist for this is he's not for me. Lamella never was. If Dan Levy wins the Premier League, will you change your opinion on him? I don't ever need to worry about that. He's never going to win the Premier League with that guy. Oh God, look at this. Am I the same? Oh God! If anyone's going to join the stream, join the stream and talk football. Otherwise, it just ruins it for everyone, and we just won't do the shows. It's really silly. Let's block the user. It's really, really silly. Right, now we've started to get trolls come through, guys, so I am going to go. I put a lot of time, my own time and effort into doing this, and the moment I start getting trolls and being called racist and people bringing up things from the past that have been misconstrued, I don't really fancy doing that anymore. So look, thank you very much. It's been a really good speaking to most of you. Thank you for some of you who always keep coming back, and we keep having some good conversations. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Take care and have a good evening. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.